Hello, hockey fans. Welcome inside the South Okanagan Event Center in beautiful Penticton, British Columbia, as we're getting set for the finale of the 2017 Young Stars Classic. This afternoon, the host Vancouver Canucks take on the Edmonton Oilers. Hi there, Joey Kenward and Gene Principe with you here in our broadcast location. It's been a great few days here at the SOEC. The weather has been fantastic outside the arena, and I think we're in for a pretty entertaining matchup between two teams that have really differing games to this point going into today's matchup.
Yeah, you know, the Edmonton Oilers over the years have had really high draft picks at this event, so they've had quite a bit of success, and they've had some more success at this event, trying to sweep through and win 3 in a row against some of their Western opponents. Meanwhile, the Vancouver Canucks, things didn't go so well last time out. So Edmonton trying to go 3-0. The Canucks trying to respond after their last game. So lots to play for between two teams or two organizations that generally start the event on Friday night. Instead, this year, they're wrapping it up on Monday.
Canucks, as Gene mentioned, coming off a loss. 6-2 they fell to the Calgary Flames 24 hours ago. They're going to make some changes to their lineup. Most notably, former first-round draft pick Brock Besser will have the day off. He's played the first 2 games and is looking ahead now to main camp next week in Vancouver. A couple of high-profile picks from the recent draft include second-rounders Cole Lind and Jonah Gadjevich. They've had points already in this tournament and look to put on a pretty good performance here to wrap things up. One other forward that has certainly caught people by surprise, but maybe in the eyes of the Canucks management, not so much. Griffin Molino played the final 5 games of the regular season for the Canucks last year after finishing off his collegiate career at Western Michigan. Here he is scoring a power play goal Friday in the victory over the Winnipeg Jets. He's one of the fastest players in this tournament and has been very, very solid so far through 2 games. Goaltender Thatcher Demko, a former second-round pick back in 2014, is at his second straight Young Stars Classic. He's the goalie of the future for Vancouver. Made 18 saves in the tournament opener Friday night against the Winnipeg Jets. He's a big kid, 6'4", out of San Diego, California. Was the starting goaltender in Utica with the American Hockey League affiliate for the Canucks. He's going to get some preseason games over the next few weeks, and he wants to finish things off on a positive note today here against an upbeat Oilers team that's looked pretty sharp through their first 2 games.
Yeah, they have, and they've kind of mixed up their lineup, as usually is the case at this event. The higher draft picks don't generally play 3 games. In fact, a couple of years ago, Connor McDavid played 1 game. Well, the most recent high pick for the Edmonton Oilers is Kailer Yamamoto. Yamamoto played the opening game on Friday night, getting a chance to wear the Oiler jersey for a first time in a game setting. He did not play on Saturday. Back in the lineup. One thing he did show on Friday is just the fast feet, the skill, the vision, that hockey IQ around the net that the Oilers saw a lot of. Otherwise, they wouldn't have drafted him 22nd overall. The tail of the tape, you go from 5'8", Kailer Yamamoto, to 6'6", Zayat Pagan. Back in 2015, of course, that was Connor McDavid's draft year. 208 picks later, this tall, lanky Russian defenseman was chosen by the Edmonton Oilers. He is the kind of package you're not sure what you're going to get. He is 6'6", he's 210 pounds. As he continues to grow and develop, he'll probably be somewhere in the 230 to 240 pound range. It's just so big, and if he can add strength, Joey, the Oilers are kind of wondering, what have we got here? And we have seen in the past with NHL drafts, Jonathan Ericsson, last overall pick, Stanley Cup winner, Patrick Hornquist, last overall pick. I mean, those used to be friends and family. Oh, yeah, I got my neighbor's son. Let's draft him. But those picks can actually mean something.
Vancouver Canucks and Edmonton Oilers capping off what has been a very entertaining week of NHL preseason action. The majority of the players will, after today's game, head back to their respective cities. The majority as well will be right into main camp. The Canucks will open things up tomorrow at Rogers Arena for physical and medical testing. They'll then have a few days off for practice. They have to start earlier than the Oilers because their preseason games aren't in North America. They've got to go all the way to Beijing and Shanghai, China for 2 games against the LA Kings. And the Edmonton Oilers look forward to players like Caleb Jones and Kailer Yamamoto and a number of their players that are here this week. 11 draft picks from the Oilers are here wearing Edmonton colors this weekend, and they're all prepping for, I'm sure, a very busy few days ahead in northern Alberta.
Yeah, Chad Butcher, actually, you look at the different players. There's a kid that started lower in the lineup He leads the Oilers in points. He's got 3 goals, and Shane Sterrett's been a couple of great efforts by the Oiler goaltenders, looking for a 3rd straight one this afternoon.
Let's head down to ice level for the singing of "Oh Canada."
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, here none of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
It is the final game of the 2017 Young Stars Classic here at the beautiful South Okanagan Event Center in downtown Penticton. The Vancouver Canucks today play host to the Edmonton Oilers. Let's look at the starting goaltenders. There's Thatcher Demko, 2nd round pick 3 years ago by the Vancouver Canucks. Appeared in 45 games as the #1 goaltender for the Utica Comets last year, here for his 2nd straight appearance at the Young Stars Classic. At the other end of the rink, goaltender Shane Sterrett will get the call. 26 victories and a sparkling 1.99 goals against average for Air Force Academy last season. 5 of his victories were shutouts. We're underway with the first period of action here in Penticton. Canucks, who wore their familiar home white jerseys, wear their blues today. The Oilers are, even the visitors, wearing their home white jerseys trimmed in blue and gold. And on the puck in his own territory for Edmonton, Kyler Yamamoto, their recent 1st-round draft pick. He's able to get possession in across the red line, chip and chase into the Canucks corner, puts on the brakes, fights off a check from Olli Juolevi. Got help from Chad Butcher. Puck comes back to the point. On it at the line. Zayat Pagan, his shot comes around to the near boards. Now Butcher has it in the slot. Wrist shot blocked off the leg of Juolevi. Yamamoto on it for Edmonton. Wrist shot, pad save made by Demko. Canucks on their heels a little bit here, turn it over. And they're in fact going to take a penalty as Joseph Gambardella has drawn a hooking call here. And the guilty party for Vancouver going to the box will be Johnny Corneal, putting the Oilers on their first power play of the game.
Well, you know, in Edmonton's last game, they came out really physical, and they set up a forecheck and allowed them to sort of have the flow of the game go in their favor, and they've done the exact same thing. A couple of great chances, or at least good chances, leads to a penalty, and now a power play for Edmonton. They're looking for their first power play goal of the tournament.
Jacob Stukel trying to race free shorthanded, and he can. Stukel in on goal for the Canucks, makes a beautiful move and score! Oh, I thought it stayed out. I thought the puck went in. Somehow, Jacob Stukel was unable to beat Shane Sterrett in net. And a fantastic shorthanded opportunity for the native of Surrey, British Columbia.
Well, I'm with you, Joey. I thought that was in as well as the Edmonton Oilers will find themselves at even strength. A penalty to Ryan Mantha. You know, we were talking about Pagan and not sure what you get. Whoa, yeah, he just got that right pad. 2 saves, in fact, by Shannon Sterrett, who must have been watching Stuart Skinner, the Edmonton kid, with a shutout, and made one glorious save against Winnipeg's Skylar McKenzie in Edmonton's most recent game. And boy, oh boy, that's about as good a chance as you will get shorthanded. But Sterrett's it down and is able to make the stop. But we're talking about Pagan. You know, he's tall, 6'6", usually footwork, right? Footwork and speed is the biggest issue, and you saw that example right there, one-on-one. He really didn't have a chance.
And Jacob Stukel's biggest asset is his speed, and he used that to near perfection. He did draw a penalty, and for the first time this afternoon, these two teams will skate 4-on-4. And the Canucks are whistled down on an offside call. Still scoreless in the early stages of the first.
Well, you know, the Edmonton Oilers, certainly at the NHL level, we talk a lot about Connor McDavid's and the Leon Draisaitl's, but in this tournament, goaltending has been a big difference for Vancouver. They're trying to beat Shane Sterrett out of Air Force Academy, saying that you don't go to Air Force and not do a lot of the military requirements. He said there are stretches where you're up at 5:30 in the morning, and that stuff you see on TV, the basic training, that's exactly what they're doing. When you make a commitment to that school, you make a commitment to the military.
Oilers turn the puck over in the Vancouver circle as Brett McKenzie for the Canucks is able to chip it back into the Oilers' hand. Jonah Gadjevich rolls it behind the net of Sterrett. Puck comes onto the near wall. Grayson Polonchuk for the Oilers leads it back down low in his end. Now Austin Strand will take possession. Had a tough time clearing. Polonchuk will retrieve, though. Leaves it free for Liam Scholler, and now Edmonton will bring it out to center ice. 25 seconds to go in this 4-on-4 situation. Cole Lynn bringing it across the Edmonton line. Drops it for Jalen Chatfield. Holds on to the puck. Let a long shot go. It's deflected high into the end netting and out of play.
Yeah, Cole Lynn has had an impressive start to his time here with the Vancouver Canucks. You know, Trent Call, the head coach, is saying, you know, hockey IQ, hockey IQ, hockey IQ. He had a lot of points in Kelowna, not far down the road, and he certainly impressed in the opening game. The second game was a little more difficult for all the Canucks.
Face-off won by Vancouver. Ulevi's drive off the stick shoulder of Sterrett. Now here's Chatfield with a strong snapshot attempt. Good save made by the netminder. Caleb Jones on it for the Oilers. Will now have a chance to clear as the penalty to Corneal is out. Very brief power play opportunity for Vancouver, but they'll have a face-off in their own zone as Thatcher Demko gets his first touch of the puck to get the face-off.
Yeah, when's the last time goalies haven't been a storyline in Vancouver? It seems like it's always the case. It's a position. It almost reminds me of being an NFL quarterback in those particular cities. That generally is a hot topic of conversation, and that seems to be the case in Vancouver as well, year after year after year.
Two Swedish goalies vying for that #1 spot this coming year in Jacob Markstrom and the newest face between the pipes, Anders Nilsson. We're back to 5-on-5 here in Penticton. The Canucks and Oilers are scoreless as we near the 4-minute mark here of period 1. Here come the Oilers. Bouncing puck skips wide of the net. Onto it is Ostap Safin, trying to gather it off the boards for the Oilers. Flipped it to the line. Puck, though, bounces over the stick of Pagan, and he'll have to retreat back deep into his own zone. Caleb Jones, standout blue liner with the Portland Winterhawks of the Western Hockey League, gets into the Vancouver territory. Had his stick lifted and lost the puck, and here comes Alexis Daoud the other way for Vancouver. He'll roll it deep into the Edmonton end. Jan-Pavel Laplante in on the forecheck. Won't be able to get to it first. Pagan will clear for Edmonton. There's now Lane Bauer, will flip it right to the goal, and Demko, taking no chances, will cover up for the whistle.
You're talking about Caleb Jones. The Edmonton Oilers have a couple of young kids, mid-round picks, and Ethan Bear and Caleb Jones that have shown quite a bit of great development at the WHL level, and of course now they want to continue to develop them in the minor leagues. But Ethan Bear not in the lineup. He's already played 2 games, but Caleb Jones is after missing the last game for the Oilers.
Vancouver in possession out of their own zone. Matt Broussard, the lead feed through the middle, had it blocked. Daoud following up, gets it in across the line, but he had teammates offside. So a little bit of stop and go action here in the early stages of this scoreless first period.
Look at Ryan Mantha, one of these big kids that you see playing in this tournament. You wonder how did he not get drafted? He was saying how, sometimes you're happy for your friends, but it's difficult to see them move on when you're hoping you can move on. And yes, he is the nephew of former NHLer Mo Mantha, but he spoke highly about his father, Bob Mantha, who played major junior, coached semi-pro hockey, and he says he talks to his dad every game about his game.
Put up a ton of points for a blue liner in the OHL last year in Niagara. 17 goals, 58 points. That's pretty impressive for a player that's not been drafted into the National Hockey League. Turnover by the Oilers in their own zone. Then the Canucks give it away. Then the Oilers return it to Vancouver. On it is Michael Carcone, letting a shot go off the post. Michael Carcone rattled it over the glove side of Sterrett, but couldn't tuck it inside the iron. That's the best scoring chance since Jacob Stuckel's shorthanded opportunity earlier this period. Brett McKenzie hit late into the boards in front of his own bench by Evan Poli, but play allowed to carry on. Gets a little bit of a rise out of the Vancouver bench as now Edmonton will ice it. And we've seen some pretty good body checks thrown so far amongst all four teams in this tournament. That was a real close borderline hit right in front of the Vancouver bench.
Yeah, Vancouver is, Michael Carcone, the one thing he can do is shoot and he can score. And Shannon Sterrett getting a little bit of help as that went up and over his shoulder. And Sterrett, he's 6'5", so he's not the smallest goaltender. Demko at the other end. You got two big goalies. I know, Joey, sometimes when these guys walk by you as they head out for warm-up, you're wondering, how do other teams score? They're just so big.
Demko had not tested nearly as much in the way of high-end chances as opposed to Sterrett to this point. Still lots of hockey to be played as these two teams look for their first goal in this Young Stars Classic finale. Griffin Molino dishing it to the far point for Ulevi. His shot was blocked off the skate of Kirill Maximov, and puck goes back to center. Canucks force it back into the Oilers' end. Molino chips it around the Edmonton target. Puck free to the right corner. Cole Lynn knocked to the ice. Did well, though, to get it free. Puck back to the left point for Guillaume Brisebois. Off the far wall for Stuckel. Ran into traffic, and then Cole Lynn got hit up high right in front of the referee. No penalty called on the play. It's a little slow as it goes right to the bench. Oilers, in turn, turn it over at the Vancouver line. Stuckel ahead for Aaron Berisha. He'll deflect it in deep. Just like that, the Oilers are able to wheel free out of their own end. Chad Butcher got it into the Vancouver territory. Not that deep, though, as Brisebois will have a chance to clear the other way. 3-2, the shot clock favoring the Canucks at this point in a scoreless opening first period of play, and the Oilers are whistled down on an icing call.
Well, Chad Butcher's been one of those kids that's impressive, and sometimes we forget that they are kids. It's the second tournament for Butcher, and he sees certainly an improvement this year to last year. There's the sandwich, the Lynn sandwich there, as he got it kind of mid-body and upper body, and thankfully he's okay. That's the last thing you want, is someone to get hurt in this tournament at the end of the tournament, kind of impacting as they move forward with their season.
Oilers bringing out to center. On the puck was Butcher, but play is whistled down on the offside.
Well, Kyler Yamamoto getting some touches. He wasn't too happy with himself in that opening game on Friday. He felt like the puck was kind of just sort of skirting off his stick. He was just felt a little bit off, and so he watched some video of the game, and had one day to practice, to think about it. Sat out on Saturday, and now hoping to, well, I wouldn't say make an impression. They expect a lot anyways from him.
Here come the Canucks, and a chance. Good save made on the glove arm of Sterrett. As coming into the wheelhouse to get that shot off was Johnny Corneal. Back come the Oilers. Shot, save made, rebound, fanned on by Pollinchuk as the teams exchange chances, skating back and forth. Here now come the Canucks. Jan-Pavel Laplante drops pass for Brassard. Shot, save made, rebound, Laplante denied by Sterrett, as things start to open up a little bit here at the South Okanagan Event Center.
You know, ever since those two quick penalties kind of got out of the way, Vancouver's coming on here. Sterrett has had some help from the post or the crossbar. He's also helped himself out, as the Canucks seem to be able to kind of weave through traffic, and their passing has allowed them to get some really good opportunities here. Some good effort defensively to try and get back on the back check, but still Shannon Sterrett with a couple of great stops in order to keep this game at zeros.
Oilers now out of their own territory. On the puck for Edmonton was Luke Coleman. He'll force it into the Canucks corner. Joel Levy trying to bat it off the boards. Gets it though to his backhand. Will leave it free for Brett McKenzie. And he's able to clear it up ice for Vancouver. Chatfield back into his own zone. Moves it up the middle for McKenzie. Now he'll dump it in deep on a backhand. Puck goes free around the Edmonton net. Now it's into the near corner. McKenzie on it. Dishes a pass off the face-off circle for Carcone. Wheels around. Threw it down low into the corner. Now a centering feed. Great save made by Stewart, and there's a chance and they score! Well, they kept coming and just peppering the Edmonton netminder with pucks, but eventually it's Michael Carcone putting it home and putting the Canucks in a 1-0 lead.
We just finished talking about how the Canucks seem to be kind of weaving and passing and moving and just causing the Edmonton Oilers some problems with their defensive coverage. Shane Sterrett with a couple of great saves. Carcone, who just a couple of minutes ago now hit the crossbar with a bullet of a shot. And this time Sterrett really didn't have much of a chance. He made a really good opening save there on Jona Gadjevich, and then he just didn't really have much of a shot because of the great shot by Carcone, and the Canucks jump into the early lead.
First time the Canucks have scored the opening goal this weekend. Now the puck is put out of play, but Michael Carcone gets his first goal of the tournament. Came here last year, fresh off of signing a free agent contract out of prospects camp. Never drafted into the NHL. And left major junior, went right to the Utica Comets, and as a rookie, had a pretty good showing last season. 5 goals and 13 assists in just over 60 games played.
Vancouver Canucks, first goal of the game.
Canucks back in possession in the Oilers' territory. Near corner is Cole Lind. Bats it back to the point for Cole Candela. Back down low for Lind. Had his pocket pick, though, by Austin Glover. And Edmonton will bring it free out of their own territory. They turn it over in front of the penalty box, though, and Aaron Luchuk is able to skip it back down ice, and the Canucks will make changes on the fly. So we're quickly approaching the midway point of this first period. Canucks out shooting Edmonton 9-3 at this stage in the action. Danny Moynihan will roll it right to the netminder, and Sterrett will take no chances and have the face-off.
Sterrett was saying how where the Air Force Academy plays in their conference, as Trey Fix-Wolansky with a big hit, nobody at all was drafted from the conference that he played in, but he was one of those kids that got the free agent deal. And it seems to be a hot topic now, these university kids getting opportunities, and there's a few of them in this tournament.
Oilers out to center. Gambardella taking it wide into the Vancouver end. Backhands it off to the point. See it, Pagan with a long blast, sails wide of the net. Broussard hooked up by Yamamoto, not seen by the referees as play continues. Barisha is able to clear it back up ice for Vancouver. Gambardella back in across the Canucks line. Long shot from well out, off the leg of Broussard. Vancouver again will make some changes here on the go as the Oilers retreat back to their own end. So we pass the midway point now of period 1. A goal by Michael Carcone as the Canucks in a 1-0 lead on the Oilers. Through center is Safin. Good wheels trying to split through the defense. Forced though to the low corner where he's body checked off the puck by Chatfield. Now here comes Daou the other way. Across the Edmonton stripe, Alexi Daou, the shot off the post. Rebound chance, Chatfield can't find it on the backhand. Twice now in this period, Vancouver's rattled the iron. Race for the dump in is an icing call here against the Oilers.
Shannon Sterrett's going to have to buy his goalpost and crossbar a Gatorade after this game. That's 2 that have just been pure bullets that have gone by Sterrett, but not by the goalpost or the crossbar. There's another shot. And you often hear goalies say, Joey, right? Well, you know, he beat me, but the goalposts and the crossbar are part of my equipment. So far, Sterrett's equipment is getting quite a workout.
The Canucks have been credited with 9 shots, but you don't get credited with those shots that hit the post or the crossbar. So they were in double digits in scoring opportunities. Played back in the Edmonton end. Austin Strand, who won a WHL title this past spring with the Seattle Thunderbirds, can't clear. Puck thrown back in deep. On it is McKenzie, trying to bring it around the goal. Nice pass in front. Here's an opportunity for Brisebois, denied. Carcone trying to follow up, can't get a shot through traffic. Good pressure by Vancouver as the Oilers on their heels a little bit will throw it to center and make a change. Back come the Canucks. Carcone across the line for Gadjevich. Slipped and fell, and here come the Oilers the other way. Evan Poli dropped it, a blind pass inside the line. It was intercepted, and Vancouver will have a chance now to put it back to the neutral zone. Puck right in front of the Edmonton bench. Jones is on it. Circles in his own zone and waits to set up the breakout. Leaves it free now for Mantha. Couldn't get things going up forward. Griffin Molina will put it in. Offside called here against Vancouver. Canucks lead the Oilers 1-0 with just under 8 to play in the first. You're tuned in to the 2017 Young Stars Classic here in Penticton, BC.
Some people say we have it easy. They think living on a postcard makes us soft. But West Coast life isn't a vacation. It's a challenge. A challenge to push ourselves, to battle through. While others sleep in, we hit the grind. While they hide from the rain, we power through it. Because compete is in our nature. And out here, we dig deep. Nah, living on a postcard doesn't make us soft. It makes us hard to play against.
And a lot of the players you saw in that Vancouver Canucks commercial kick-started their NHL careers with the team right here at the Young Stars event. It goes all the way back to the initial tournament when Chris Tanev played at this event in 2010. Other players who played for other teams but are now with the Canucks include former Calgary Flames draft picks Sven Baertschi and Marcus Granlund. And of note now, Bo Horvat, who just signed a 6-year contract extension, which will pay him an average of $5.5 million per year. Great list of names for Canucks fans who have followed them over the years, who kick-started it here. And you can't just say this for the Canucks. All 4 teams, including the Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, and Winnipeg Jets, have had some of the premier players in their lineups right now. Have it all start here in Penticton years ago.
Yeah, 2010 is when it all kicked off. And I remember back then for Edmonton, it was the first time they'd ever had a first overall pick. Taylor Hall was here, Jordan Eberle was here, Magnus Pajärvi was here. So sometimes things change and these players end up in other organizations, but it doesn't diminish the impact that this tournament has on their careers.
I know we're not getting any younger, but can you believe it? That was 7 years ago.
We keep getting older, they keep getting younger, it seems like to me.
Canucks looking to build on their 1-0 lead on the Oilers. Here's Mackenzie Stewart, long shot, blocked. His D partner, Matt Brassard, gets it back. Leaves it off for the stick of Luchuk. Put it in deep, couldn't find a teammate with the puck. Oilers, though, turn it over. Griffin Molino throws it to the net, and Shane Starrett, who's seen a lot of action in the early going of this game, covers up for the whistle.
Yeah, Starrett was saying how he finished up a season. You talked about his numbers. He had a really strong year, and he's got a chance to actually watch the Edmonton Oilers. Air Force Academy was in Denver for a Friday game. It was a school break, but they were playing. They got there on a Wednesday, and who happened to be playing that night were the Edmonton Oilers versus the Colorado Avalanche. At that time, he didn't know he'd end up being a member of the Oilers, but got a sneak peek of his future team and organization.
Yoel Levy at the point for Vancouver. Puck comes free to Aaron Barisha. Snap shot right on goal, and Starrett will stand tall and get the whistle. Shots on goal now 13-3 for Vancouver. And this is very reminiscent of the first game the Canucks played, Gene, of this tournament. They peppered Mikhail Burden, the goalie for the Winnipeg Jets, and at one time it was about a 9-minute stretch before Thatcher Demko saw at least a shot attempt from the opponent, and a little deja vu right now, I'm sure, for the Canucks netminder, who hasn't seen much action in his own territory in the last 10 minutes.
Talking about shots on goal, in the previous game, Mikhail Burden faced 10 this afternoon, or this morning, I guess, depending on where you watch. Well, Starrett has already faced 13 in just over 13 minutes, and Burden only faced 10 against the Calgary Flames. And we'll see. You know, always wondering how it affects the netminder, where you sit and wait, and you sit and wait. So we'll see when Demko does get action at some point, how he responds.
Another offside call here against Vancouver. 6:46 to go here in this first period. Joey Kenward, Gene Principe with you here in the broadcast booth. The loquacious Tom Gazzola will be our man at ice level to do the walk-off interviews. He'll also come up here in the intermissions. I believe one of his guests is Keith Gretzky.
It is Keith Gretzky, yes.
And I'll be joined later on by Judd Brackett, the Director of Amateur Scouting for the Vancouver Canucks.
So many great hockey personnel here for this tournament from the 4 teams. There's never a shortage of people to talk to, interview, on camera, off camera, take your pick.
Daou for the Canucks up the right side, lets a snapshot go that missed on the glove side of Starrett. And the Oilers will clear it out of their own territory. Joseph Gambardella made his way into the Canucks zone, didn't get it that deep. Daou had his stick broken, or excuse me, he was able to dump it in, but broke an opponent's stick in the process. Now here's Gambardella that whistles a drive wide of Demko. Jan-Pavel Laplante, who had one of the 2 Vancouver goals yesterday afternoon in their 6-2 loss to the Calgary Flames, also had a doozy of a fight with
What a doozy, yeah.
Hunter Smith, forces it in deep.
I watched that, and wow. Hunter Smith is a mountain. There's mountains around Penticton. That's one of them.
Carcone, who has the goal in this game for Vancouver, will have a chance to wheel free. He had a fight in Game 1 against the Winnipeg Jets. Carcone now leading it around the Edmonton net. Jones is first to it for the Oilers. Gives off for his D partner, Mantha. Can't get it out, and the puck is deflected right on goal, and Starrett will get the glove hand to it to get the face-off.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to jinx this, or sometimes you say something and it happens, but the Oilers have yet to have a fight in the tournament. And when this tournament started, we were talking 2010, I think there used to be too many fights. If you can fight, you can fight, but this was more to showcase what players can do while they're on the ice. But so far, Edmonton's quiet in that category.
As the puck goes out of play again, and really, you could say that about hockey in general.
Yeah.
You know, right from the NHL down through junior and college, and then every other level in between, fighting has gone down. But that was one heck of a scrap that we saw yesterday between Laplante and Smith.
Laplante is, wow, everyone's smaller than Hunter Smith from the Flames, but he didn't act it and he didn't fight like it either.
5 minutes to go here in this first period of play. Canucks up 1-0 on a goal by Michael Carcone. Demko, who hasn't seen much action, turns it over right beside his net. Oilers weren't able to get to the loose puck for a scoring chance. And Yule Levy will clear it the other way for Vancouver. Evan Poli trying to gather it in the neutral zone, fails to do so. Danny Moynihan for the Canucks, chips and chases and collects it in deep. Rims it around the goal. Then it came back to where it first started on the right side. Candela rolls it back down low in the territory. On it is Berisha. Cycles it in deep behind the net. Jacob Stukel lost it momentarily, did well to get it back. Stukel back for Berisha. Shot hit a leg and it deflects back down to the Vancouver end. Stretch pass for the Canucks goes astray. They're going to chase it down to wave off the icing. Berisha, former member of the Memorial Cup champion London Knights, trying to put it out in front. Got away from his teammate Stukel, and Edmonton will clear. Trey Fix-Wolanski, who plays for the Edmonton Oil Kings in the Western Hockey League, forces it down low in the zone. Maximov back to the point. Near side pass. Pagan with a drive, and that rattles off Demko into the end netting and out of play, and Zayat Pagan stepped into that shot for the Oilers from long range.
Well, the one thing the Oilers organization was saying about this kid when he came over from the KHL, he's got a bomb of a shot, and I think that Thatcher Demko's mask would agree. That went right off the mask and up into the crowd. You don't often see that, and I guess they just want to make sure that knock the strap off. Maybe they got to make sure that everything's in place and that he's good to go. If they have, I'm sure they've got a backup mask somewhere if necessary.
The velocity of that shot may have cracked it. But you see
he's going to want as much padding as he can get in there after that one. Well, it's only his 4th shot of the game. He hadn't really seen one for a while, and Pagan just wound up and bombed it from the point. Not really too much of a screen, but boink, right off the top of his head and out of play. Demko okay. And I always, when I see that, I think, how did they ever play net without masks? My goodness.
Yamamoto with a chance off a face-off. Couldn't get a shot on target. Canucks see Daou have a chance to move it back down to the Edmonton end. 3:20 to go here in this first period of play. Canucks on a goal by Michael Carcone leading the Oilers 1-0. Daou skating it back in across the Edmonton line. Drags the puck. Threw it out in front. Couldn't find his teammate at the top of the blue paint. That being LaPlante. Oilers back down the other way. Butcher waiting for help. Gives it free off to the stick of Kara. Lost it low on the Canucks end. Mackenzie Stewart for Vancouver. Leaves it for his D partner Brassard, who will float it back down to the Edmonton territory. Savon Kara of the Swift Current Broncos. BC boy hailing from the lower mainland. Forces it in deep. Austin Glover dishing it for Maximoff. Put it out to the slot, and unable to get a one-timer on goal was Fix Wolanski. Carcone wheels the other way for Vancouver. Gets around his man. Michael Carcone dragging it across the slot. Lets a shot go and scores! What a beautiful individual effort by Michael Carcone. His second goal of the game has the Canucks up by a pair.
You nailed it, Joey. What an incredible individual effort by Michael Carcone. You do not see that in hockey much anymore at any level, just because of the defensive systems in place, as he just shakes and shimmies and moves and slides and then eventually shoots and beats Shane Sterrett. As originally he walked around Liam Scholler to get into the Oilers zone, and we've already seen he's got a great shot. He showed off about 2 or 3 or 4 good moves there, so put that all together, and right now it's Michael Carcone 2, Edmonton nothing.
Icing called here against the Canucks. 15-4, the shot clock favoring Vancouver at this stage in the game.
Well, coming into today's game, you called it the other day. It wasn't quite the effort that the Canucks wanted. And I know, speaking to head coach Trent Call, they spoke about moving with the puck. And when you don't have it, keep the feet moving, keep going. And has it ever worked? Because when they've gone into the Oilers zone, they've been able to really move around well.
Hit thrown by Liam Scholler on Griffin Molino right in front of the penalty box. And that's going to be a penalty here against the Regina Pats defenseman, who gets set to be on a team that's hosting the MasterCard Memorial Cup next May.
Yeah, Scholler, not overly known for penalty minutes, 48 this past season with Regina, here on a tryout or an invite, maybe still smarting a little bit after what happened to him a shift or so ago when Carcone went around him and then went in to score the second goal of the game. And I will give him credit. He sort of eased up and nudged him in, as opposed to rammed him right in with the charge.
Late first period power play opportunity here for the Canucks to build on their 2-0 lead. Olio Levy high in the slot, holds, releases a shot, never got through traffic. Oilers trying to clear, turn it over inside the line. Lind, and a one-time blast by Luchuk sails past the target. Good pressure here by Vancouver on their second power play of the period. Lind looking back to the point, goes rink wide. Luchuk threw it out in front, couldn't find a wide open Jonah Gadjevich. Levy, right circle for Luchuk, left circle for Lind. Pass deflected from the slot, high over the target. That came from Griffin Molino. The Oilers now are on it and are be able to skate it cleanly to center as Lane Bauer will dump it back down the ice. 1 minute to go here in this first period of play. There's a 4-second difference between the end of the period and the end of the penalty to Scholler. Molino back in across the Edmonton stripe. Forces it in deep. LaPlante trying to kick it free off the boards. Sweeps it around the net of Sterrett to the right side of the zone. Brisebois in and off the point, can't keep it in the territory. And now it comes in across the Canucks line. Yamamoto on the PK trying to kill off some time. Spins his way off the boards. Knocked down to his knees, though, off the puck. And Vancouver will have one more opportunity to rush into the Edmonton zone and maybe capitalize on a late period man advantage goal. Carcone, who has both goals in this period, Puts it across the zone for Daou. Back to Carcone. Long-range snapshot. Got a piece of it, did Starrett through a screen. Puck back now to Guillaume Brisebois. Down low for Carcone. Rink-wide pass, took a deflection, and the puck bounces back to center. Carcone with one more long-range drive, just as the buzzer sounds. And that will end a pretty positive first 20 minutes of action for Michael Carcone and the Vancouver Canucks. Well deserving to be in a 2-0 lead on the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, and he also hit the crossbar before he scored the 2 goals, so he could almost have had a first period hat trick. Vancouver Canucks happy about the opening 20 minutes. I'm sure the Edmonton Oilers, other than the play of netminder Shane Starrett, can't be too impressed with themselves. Just the fact that they allowed 16 shots on goal, of course, credit to the Canucks. So we'll see how the Oilers are able to respond. And what is said during the first intermission, the Oilers really, through their first 2 games, have played 6 pretty good periods of hockey. They haven't really had much of an issue, but it looks like this was kind of the one weak link of their 3 games so far. But credit Vancouver and Michael Carcone, who was stellar in that opening 20 minutes of play. Not only the 2 goals, Joey, but just the way he was moving around and getting himself set for all kinds of offensive opportunities. And not surprisingly, it is Michael Carcone that is standing by with Tom Gazzola.
Michael Carcone and the Canucks rookies lead the Oilers rookies after one by a score of 2-0, thanks to a pair of goals from yourself. Michael, what'd you like about the way you guys played that first period?
We played fast and we played structured. You know, when everyone's doing their job, things tend to go to your way most of the time. So I think that plays a big factor in why we have a 2-0 lead right now.
How good does it feel going into main camp to put up a good showing here for a guy like yourself?
I wasn't impressed with my last 2 games. No, I don't think I really did much. I think I hurt the team more than anything. So, you know, get a pair of goals under my belt, get cracking into the main camp. I think that's pretty good, and I'm looking forward to it.
Certainly makes up for it. Finally, I just want to ask, you guys do have a bit of an experienced roster as compared to theirs. How much is that starting to shine through in this one?
Definitely. We noticed it with Calgary too. They had a bit of an older roster.
Yep.
So I think it does play a big part. The jitters and shakes aren't there as much, and I think everyone knows what their job is. And yeah, I think it just works out pretty well, I guess.
Michael, well said. Thanks for this. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Look like shit out there. Look like Brock Besser, kind of. You know? You know who Brock Besser is? You don't? Yeah, me neither. How about you? No one? Happy birthday, man. I turned 22 soon, in December. Can you believe that? Sucks. Get in there. One more. Try again. Keep going. I want to see a big number here. Come on. Yeah, I like that.
This is a mild onion. Add a little bit. We're gonna add a little bit, give it a little stir. Tonight we got a fun competition going on. We're inviting all the prospects into Dirty Apron. We're gonna put them through a cooking challenge. We're gonna cook some good food, and they're all gonna be judged on presentation, taste, and creativity. We know they can play hockey, but can they cook? Has everyone watched Top Chef Canada or Iron Chef America? That's what you guys are doing tonight. Salt and pepper. These are the tops to the steaks. Flip over.
That's it.
this little guy sticking out like this. You know, it looks a little like it's from the forest.
Well, we just got whatever all the boys made. We got some steak, some pasta, some rice, and some other stuff in here too. It's really good.
It was amazing. I'm not a big cook, so I learned a lot.
Okay, guys, we're here to announce the official winners of the Canucks Cooking Challenge 2017. We got a tie for first place, believe it or not, scoring 104 points. Team Halibut and Team Beef. So, how did we decide first place? There has to be a winner, right? What do? You take things to Twitter. And winning 46% of that vote is Team Beef. Woo! You know, I thought that this year's the prospects, they performed very well. They performed as a team, which was really cool. There was support amongst the group, making sure everyone was doing it, and there was encouragement. So I thought it was a great experience. I mean, you know, we put them through the ringer here, and they worked hard. Well done, everyone. Well done.
Some people say we have it easy. They think living on a postcard makes us soft. But West Coast life isn't a vacation. It's a challenge. A challenge to push ourselves, to battle through. While others sleep in, we hit the grind. While they hide from the rain, we power through it. Because compete is in our nature. And out here, we dig deep. Nah, living on a postcard doesn't make us soft. It makes us hard to play against.
Back inside the South Okanagan Events Center here in beautiful Penticton, British Columbia. Tom Gazzola alongside Assistant General Manager of the Edmonton Oilers, Keith Gretzky. Keith, after 20 minutes of play, what did you see out there from your young guns?
Well, it was a little different than the last two games. I thought we were sitting back and we were a little flat there.
Talking to Michael Carcone of the Canucks, he said he feels that the experience factor did play into that first period. How much of it do you think weighed in on that?
I just think we sat back and thought it was going to be easy, and we came out flat, and we weren't hitting, we weren't skating, our passes weren't sharp, so you know we have to put that 20 behind us and come out and play hard.
Overall, what have you seen from your club and your youngsters in this Penticton tournament? Because they have played pretty well up until this point.
You're right, they have played well. You know, Evan Polai's played very well. He's been a good leader. I thought our goaltending's been strong. I thought our defense has been good. So a lot of improvement from the young players, so that's what we want to see.
Always have to ask you who that stood out to you thus far. I know this is a preseason tournament, but what have you liked from some certain individuals?
Well, like I said, I think all the defense played well. You know, the first two games, they've all showed what they can do, and again, I said Polai's been really good, you know, taking the body, playing hard, and doing the little things that he needs to do to be effective. You know, Butcher's played well, so, you know, guys have stood out.
For guys that are on an AHL deal like Chad Butcher, what do you tell guys like that that are trying to chomp at the bit to make an impact within this organization, but you know they don't quite have the NHL contract or have that same type of involvement with the organization?
You know what, you can never say never to a player, and we said that. You know, we had a good meeting before the camp, the coaches and Scott Housen told them what was expected of them, and you know it doesn't matter if you're a first rounder or the last pick or an invite, you know, you're here to win a job and to be evaluated. And I think that, you know, from the first two games, they've all done that and showed what they can do.
How about some of the guys from the 2017 draft? We saw Stuart Skinner the other night stand on his head. Dylan Wells from the year prior. The 2017 guys, Dmitry Samorukov has been playing, Ostap Safin. What have you seen from that newest crop of Oilers?
You know, I thought Skinner played very well, like you mentioned. He made some big saves. He got across quickly, you know, showed what his strengths are. And You know, I thought the first game when Yamamoto played, he showed his speed and his compete level. You know, so we're excited about those guys. You know, you look at Samorukov. Though this is a learning curve for him, you know, it's big adjustments to come in here as an 18-year-old, and you know, he's going to learn, and hopefully next year, you know, make that step that we want to see.
Keith, 1 year under your belt as a member of the Oilers organization, what's it been like for you in this role as assistant GM?
You know, you're always learning. You're learning the organization, the people, the players, you know, everybody in it. It's been super. I'm learning, and that's what it's about.
What about the big club? When pucks start flying for real, what do you anticipate from the big team?
You know what, we just got to continue what we've been doing and build from what we did last year and not be complacent and come out and forget about last year and play hard.
Keith, always a pleasure having you on. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Keith Gretzky, assistant GM of the Edmonton Oilers.
Still have the silky mitts, huh? Go again. Go again. Try to get the inside edge, not outside. So they're like you're pushing ahead. I was invited to be a guest coach on the Canucks development camp. It's nice to be back, obviously catch up with a lot of friends from the past year. When you receive the puck, a lot of you guys are doing this. Use your professional vision. You guys have to do it like in the game. So you're trying to find the forwards. That's your first job. Get it to the forwards, not your D partner. So you don't have to look at your D partner. Get up, then you can throw it. Well, just bring some of my insights to the game and kind of. Silky mitts, huh? Go again. Go again. Try to get the inside edge, not outside. So they're like you're pushing ahead. I was invited to be a guest coach on the Canucks development camp. It's nice to be back, obviously catch up with a lot of friends from the past year. When you receive the puck, a lot of you guys are doing this. Use your professional vision. You guys have to do it like in the game. So you're trying to find the forwards. That's your first job. Get it to the forwards, not your D partner. So you don't have to look at your D partner. Get up, then you can throw it. Well, just bring some of my insights to the game and kind of bring the player's perspective, how to, handle yourself with the off-season training and what it takes to be a professional. Have a little deception again here when you're dragging. A little fake. Missä ne ylämummot on?
Yeah, of course you know the name. There is not too many NHL players from Finland, and especially with that kind of career. I was looking up for him when I was younger and always knew that he was playing here, there, and everything, but it was really cool that he's now here. And it's an awesome opportunity to see what he did in his career, and now he's helping us here.
Stay up. Why are you falling down there?
Obviously, he's a great skater, has a good skill set. I think the thing that makes him really good is he's poised, very patient with the puck, doesn't panic even if a forechecker is on him. He'll still be able to make good plays. So he's a pretty good player for a young kid.
Kind of know what you're expecting now, and you know what we did last year, and it's kind of easier to come in here and you know more of the guys. Last year I didn't know any one of these guys. It's a development camp, so you have to learn here something, and you have to be listening all the time. And I know I have learned new things here, and it's cool.
So don't look at your partner. Look up ice like you're passing to the forward, then pass it there. There we go. Kids are a little bit more confident now, but the game has changed a lot too. It's not the same as when I first came into the league. Long-time veterans, they were kind of up here, and kids were at the bottom. But now it's more even. There's not big of a gap, in the chemistry of the team.
And Olli Juolevi and his Canucks teammates pretty happy with their first period of play.
And so they should be. I mean, as you correctly called it there, it looked like that would be the opening goal. I mean, the Canucks were just having all kinds of great chances. They couldn't quite score. Crossbars, goalpost. Finally, Michael Carconi will beat Shane Starrett, and it was a sign of more to come for Carconi. As you got about 3 Oilers trying to block that shot, and there's Carconi. I mean, I felt bad for Liam Scholler, who played pretty well so far in this tournament, but Carconi, a man offensively possessed through that first 20 minutes of play. You think of the chances that he had, the 16 shots, the 2 goals, could have had a hat trick. He did about everything you would ever want from an offensive player to do, and as a result, the Oilers, they haven't been down 2 goals in this tournament. They were down 2 times by a goal against Calgary, but not like this after 20 minutes of play.
Interesting to see what the conversation might have been like inside the Edmonton locker room in that intermission break. We'll see what kind of pushback they have here to start the second. Edmonton is shorthanded, but not for long, as just a handful of seconds have carried on from Liam Scholler's minor penalty into period 2. We're underway with the second period. Joey Kenward, Gene Principe with you here in this final game of the 2017 Young Stars Classic. Alexi Daou for Vancouver gets into the Edmonton corner. Pressure to the glass by Scholler. Did well to get it free to Jan-Pavel Laplante. Threw it into the crease, and Starrett, sprawling backwards, is able to get it with his glove hand. As early on, 27 seconds in, the Canucks nearly made it a 3-0 game.
Yeah, he kind of waved his glove like, it's right here. I got it. Everybody take it easy. One thing about the Canucks, those great individual efforts by Carconi, but they're just kind of crashing into the net. And again, something their head coach said that he wanted them to do. He was talking about Laplante's goal yesterday, how he went to the net and stayed there, and he scored. And he wanted more of the players to do that as well, and that was a perfect example. It nearly was 3-0 off. Bit of a lucky bounce, but some good work and a good approach by the Canucks.
Carconi comes up the right side. Here's an odd man rush. Carconi with a pass in front. It was blocked at the last second as Jonah Gadjevich was all alone. But a little unselfish play there by Carconi. You're right. Could have had the hat trick on his stick, but neglected to dish it off. Good read by the Edmonton D to break up the scoring chance. Carconi gives chase back into the Edmonton corner. Backhands it down low in the zone. Gadjevich, top of the crease. Brett McKenzie falls, and then Carconi spins around and tried a shot that sails wide. Carconi back on the puck. Rims it around the Edmonton net to the near point for Mackenzie Stewart. Behind the net, Carconi lost his footing, couldn't get the puck on his stick. It's back at the line. Stewart can't get it towards the net as Caleb Jones finds it for Edmonton. Brings it the other way. Jones trying to get one on the target of Thatcher Demko. It deflects well away from the net. Griffin Molino was able to retrieve for Vancouver. Matt Broussard up the right side. Gives for Cole Lind, who will deflect it into the Edmonton end. Kara comes clean with it out of his own corner for Luke Coleman. Stretch pass up the ice, misses everybody. This will not be an icing, they wave it off. Puck then comes down low in front, and a snapshot attempt by the Oilers. Ziet Heigen was put wide. Here now comes Lind, in across the Edmonton stripe. For Luchuk, just had it roll away from him when trying to shoot. Team's opening up the ice now as Lane Bauer goes rink wide for Evan Polai. Former Red Deer Rebel forward. Polai brings it behind the net. Leaves it free for Coleman. Couldn't find the goal on a wraparound attempt. Chatfield for the Canucks is able to skate it cleanly to center, and he'll dump it in deep. This will not be an icing. They wave it off as Chatfield does well to keep play going. Oilers pressured off the puck. Aaron Berisha sliding it to the crease. Moynihan had a chance, denied by netminder Shane Starrett, and now a penalty is coming up here as I believe Jacob Stukel took a bit of a high stick, and he did indeed, from Austin Strand, and Vancouver's going to go to work on their third straight power play of the game.
We were talking about pushback by the Edmonton Oilers, a little bit better after that early chance and the stop by Starrett, but now they find themselves in a little bit more trouble again as there's a stick just kind of, Strand just tried to almost flip it over Stukel, but he caught him on the side of the face and in the helmet, and as a result, penalty kill here, and an important one for Edmonton to not go down by 3.
Gadjevich trying to backhand rebound opportunity was put wide. Puck back at the line. Guillaume Brisebois' pass is picked off by Kyler Yamamoto. Speeding his way up the ice, dropping a pass for Chad Butcher. Return feed blocked by Guillaume Brisebois back on D. Good opportunity for Edmonton shorthanded. Canucks come back up the ice on a power play. Gadjevich trying to spin his way out of traffic. Coughed it up, and here comes Yamamoto and Butcher. Butcher on a shorthanded breakaway. In alone, save made by Thatcher Demko. And here come the Canucks up ice, 3-on-1 on the power play. Griffin Molino dragging the puck, throws it towards Gadjevich, but the pass went behind him. Good action in both ends of the ice here with 1:15 to go in this Vancouver power play. Luchuk lets a shot go, and it's deflected high into the end netting and out of play. And Thatcher Demko, who hasn't been busy much, comes up with his biggest save of the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen a 2-on-1 and a breakaway on the same penalty kill within seconds. And there it is, his 5th stop of the afternoon, and by far his best. And he does it against Chad Butcher, who had 3 goals so far in this tournament and is the leading goal getter on the part of the Edmonton Oilers. And just before that, Butcher tried to get it to Kyler Yamamoto. So best chances on this power play coming to the penalty kill unit.
Canucks work the man advantage for another minute. Rink wide pass by Carcone was deflected away out of the zone by Lane Bauer. Vancouver will regroup at center. Carcone will fire it in deep. Awkward bounce out of the corner right to the crease. Starrett will sweep it away. And the Oilers are able to now rip it back into the Vancouver zone. 35 seconds to go here in this third man advantage of the day for the Canucks. Looking to build on their 2-0 lead on Edmonton. Demko playing it out of his net, stretches it up the wing. LaPlante turned it over, but Edmonton's Ethan Saipula was in deep offside.
You know what I like about Demko on that save, Joey, is that sometimes physically you can't keep yourself in the game. If you're just not getting any shots on net, there's only so much kind of moving around, but mentally he was really sharp on that. Prepared, had just had the 2-on-1 thwarted seconds before that. It was a clear-cut breakaway from center ice. It almost looked like something you'd see in a shootout. So credit Thatcher Demko for being in this game, even though he's only faced 5 shots to this point.
10 seconds to go on the power play for Vancouver. As Broussard will start with it behind his own goal. Look up the ice, give it for his defense partner, Stewart. Comes in across the Edmonton Lions. We're back to even strength hockey. Stewart coughed it up. Puck now gloved ahead by Moynihan, and that's why play is whistled down.
In the opening game of the tournament, Mackenzie Stewart and the Vancouver Canucks were not playing the Edmonton Oilers, and the Oilers trailed 1-0 and 2-1 to Calgary. And then to start period number 3, 3 goals in 3 minutes and 29 seconds, and that sort of pushed them not only into the victory against Calgary, but seemed to carry over against Winnipeg. And now if you're an Oilers fan and your Oilers organization, you continue to want to see how they respond after killing off that penalty.
Canucks put it back into the Edmonton end. Gadjevich steering it onto the end boards. Brett McKenzie trying to fish it free for Vancouver. Can't, as Edmonton's Austin Glover does. Now a hit on the boards on Maximoff by Gadjevich. It's a bit of a rise from the Oilers bench. Here though comes Glover the other way for Edmonton. Into the corner. Maximoff pressured to the wall by McKenzie off the puck. Canucks though can't clear. At the line, shoulder shot, deflects on target. Demko makes the easy kick away save. Vancouver will clear. Gadjevich, as there's lots of pushing and shoving going by the bench, and Gadjevich got free on a partial break, got hooked up by Strand, and it's not going to be a penalty shot, but it is a penalty drawn for the second time this period to Austin Strand, and I don't even think Gadjevich realized that he was going to be able to get free on a breakaway from just inside the blue line.
Yeah, I was waiting for the point there potentially by the officials, who are Fraser Lawrence and Kyle Kowalski, are linesmen Dustin Minty and Neil Prokop, and there he is all by himself, and a good hook real late there on the part of Strand, was it? And that prevented a 3-0 goal on the part of Vancouver. But back on the power play goes Vancouver, which might be good news for Edmonton, considering last time out they had a 2-on-1 and a breakaway.
Canucks bring it into the Oilers zone. Griffin Molino throwing it towards net. That's blocked, and the Oilers will break out of their own zone on another odd man rush. Short-handed, Jones giving it free to Butcher. Stops, leaving it free for Mantha with a drive from long range. That's put wide. Oilers will put it back all the way into their own zone to kill off some time on the minor to Austin Strand. Now the puck hits the scoreboard.
Yeah, you don't often see
you
that.
don't see that at all.
Caleb Jones just kind of shrugged it off like, well, I didn't mean to do that. Olli Juolevi tried to shrug off what happened to him in the most recent game for Vancouver. I know Canucks fans, 5th overall pick, playing his 3rd game in the tournament, which again you don't normally see from high draft picks, but maybe coming off what happened last game out, it's more important for him to play and just kind of shake it off, get it out of his system before he heads to main camp instead of sitting on that before Vancouver starts things up.
Canucks still on the power play for 1:15. Guillaume Brisebois at the line. Gives it off for Alexis Daou. Snaps a shot high and wide. Michael Carcone, who has the 2 Vancouver goals to this point, trying to get it out in front. Pass was blocked, and it now escapes the Edmonton territory. Polai for the Oilers. Forces his way into the Canucks end. Chips the puck over the Vancouver goal. Daou will retrieve and have a chance to start out to center. Daou into the Oilers territory. Pressured off the puck. It's back to the wall though for Brisebois. Brisebois goes rink wide. Carcone gives it now to Brett McKenzie. Daou for Brisebois with a shot. Pad save made by Starrett. And the Oilers are able to clear with Austin Glover going one-on-one the other way against Brisebois. Glover trying to drag move, can't get around his man. And the Canucks will regroup with 20 seconds to go in the power play. They turn it over though, low behind their net. Now they get it back as Carcone will relieve some pressure and leave it for his defenseman. We have 8 minutes off the clock here in period 2. Canucks up 2-0 on the Oilers. These 2 teams are back to 5-on-5 hockey. Starrett will stop the puck behind his goal for Ryan Mantha. The nephew of former NHLer Mo Mantha will now see it deflect deep into the Vancouver end. Juolevi had a tough time clearing it up his own zone as it went off the skate of Sapula. Mantha pressured in off the point, fired it across the face of the net. Puck will carry him off the boards, and the Oilers have to retreat all the way to their own zone. Back they come on the attack. Joseph Gambardella trying to get it out towards the goal. It's bounced free behind the net of Demko. Molino first to it, turned it over. Here now a shot attempt by Edmonton's Ostap Safin, denied by Demko to get the face-off.
Yeah, a little bit of an early whistle there. Thatcher Demko, though, did make the initial stop, and he hasn't had to go to his water too often. Vancouver, though, continues to push Stukel there, just probably inches away from beating Starrett. Starrett said, it's been a solid game for him. 22 shots on net. We're almost at the halfway point.
Kara with a long snapshot attempt for the Oilers. Demko will cover it up. Kara, the younger brother of Jujar
Kara. Yeah, Saturday night, Savan was playing here. His brother and a bunch of the Oilers were taking in the UFC 215 going on at Rogers Place, and I mean a bunch of them. There was about 17 or 18 as pretty much the entire Oilers team is back already prior to the start of training camp. That tells you they're ready to go to get going after what happened last season.
You know what was happening in Vancouver? A lot of the Canucks regulars were together in a suite watching the Vancouver Whitecaps Major League Soccer game. But they're all business now as we're getting that much close to puck drop in the National Hockey League schedule.
Victory over Real Salt Lake.
That's right. Here's a chance in front for the Oilers, and it's put just wide across the goal line. That was Gambardella who had it behind Demko, but just couldn't get it across that red line. Best opportunity in the game so far for Edmonton. Here they have another opportunity, they score! Joseph Gambardella makes no mistake on his second chance in less than a minute, and the Oilers are on the board.
Well, Joseph Gambardella scored an empty net goal last game on the part of the Edmonton Oilers, and he nearly scored another empty net goal, even though there is a goalie in net, that being Thatcher Demko, he just kind of slid it right across. It was almost, oh, I'm sure he thought, how can I miss this? Well, he did, but give the kid credit because he comes right back, and as the Canucks can't get rid of this puck, he plays a little back and forth with Chad Butcher, and the wrist shot gets right through. And Kyler Yamamoto, who might be considered the smallest player on the ice, was putting together a pretty big screen out front. So the Oilers will like that as well from their first-round pick. And we've got ourselves a hockey game, Joey. Halfway through the second period, Edmonton's on the board.
Gabardella with his second goal of the tournament on that nice give-and-go play with Chad Butcher. 9:44, the time of the opening goal of this game for Edmonton. Bouncing puck back inside the Vancouver line is chipped out to center by Cole Candela. Oilers in turn will whistle it back in deep off the stick of Liam Scholler. Brisebois, his third appearance at this Young Stars tournament for the Canucks. Got it in across the line. Danny Monahan on a backhand chance. Had it go high and wide. Brisebois to the crease. Puck swept away by Starrett. Now Candela down low in the zone for Stukel. Back to Candela. Trying to put it out in front. He did. It went across the face of the net. Back to the line it goes. Juolevi goes a rink wide. On the puck, Candela, his shot hit the leg of Austin Strand. Juolevi got it back in deep for Vancouver. The defenseman plays it behind the Edmonton net. Comes clean to the near boards and cycles it down low. Stukel takes the pass from him. Wheels free high into the slot. Gives for Juolevi. His shot was blocked, and the Oilers have a chance to clear it back off the glass down the ice. But Poli bumped into the linesman Neil Prokop. And the Oilers fans in attendance give it to the linesman, who's a one-time WHL forward with the Moose Jaw Warriors and Tri-City Americans. Here now come the Oilers out of their own zone of numbers. Austin Glover across the line, drops a pass. One-time drive, and they score! And it's Ziet Pagan with a blast, putting it low underneath Demko, and we are in a 2-2 hockey game.
Well, coming into this tournament, Edmonton head coach Jerry Fleming, who coached Pagan at Bakersfield last year, said the kid's got a bomb, the kid's got a bomb. And we saw it earlier as he wrapped it off the mask of Thatcher Demko. Here he just sneaks it right by Demko. It looked like he was in pretty good position. The Oilers with a little bit of traffic out front, and it is suddenly, very quickly, 10 shots on goal. Shot number 9, shot number 10 beat Demko, and we're tied at 2.
Here comes Carconi, putting it out in front. Gadjevich denied by the netminder Starrett as players push and shove after the whistle. Well, we've got ourselves a hockey game right now. It's the Canucks 2, the Oilers 2, and this is the finale of the 2017 Young Stars Classic at the South Okanagan Event Center here in downtown Penticton.
I got a question for you. What does the city know about adventure? What could a town with passion, spirit, and charm know about the finer things in life? Well, I'll tell you. More than most. You see, it starts with the people. And exceptional weather, add relaxed and healthy lifestyle, and a friendly, active community that runs generations deep in every last one of us. That's who we are. That's our story. Now, it's probably not the one you've been reading in the papers. The one written by folks who don't want to share our secret, afraid of what we're capable of. Because when it comes to lifestyle, it's about as much as what you can do as how you do it. Now, we're from Canada, but this isn't Vancouver or the Big TO or the Stampede City, and we're certainly no Igloo City. This is the Peach City, and this is what we do.
And a big thank you to Andrew Jacubi, the creator of that video, who moonlights as the mayor of Penticton.
We've been talking mayoralty issues in Penticton. Has run one term and sounds like he'll run a second term.
And does great work. He loves being a part of the organizing committee for this event year after year.
Yeah, and he said last night he played his first beer league game. So he's not only covering hockey, he's playing it as well in his off time when you're the mayor of Penticton, when I'm sure the summers should be a quiet time with everyone in town. It's a busier time for the city.
And it's we not only thank him, but we thank all of our organizers locally that helped put this event on. It's the 7th year of the Young Stars Classic.
And the applause right there for the BC firefighters. Nice thank you on the scoreboard. Round of applause, sticks on the boards. It has been quite a summer for BC when it comes to all the forest fires they've had.
And proceeds of ticket sales and food and beverage sales this week are going to the Firefighters Relief Fund. Here comes Daou the other way for Vancouver. Got a shot off. Good save made by Shane Starrett. That's the 26th shot on goal in this game for Vancouver. Chad Butcher races through center ice for the Oilers. Gets in across the line. Had a pass deflect off a skate. Jan-Pavel Laplante turns it over to Gambardella. Looking in front to Butcher. Took a spill when trying to get a shot free. Oilers, though, retrieve on the wall. Yamamoto to the point for Kara. Long shot block off the stick by Laplante. And now the Canucks are able to clear it out of their own end. With under 7 minutes to go here in period 2. Here comes Moynihan across the line. Drops a pass for Laplante. Wrist shot, save made by Starrett to hold on and get the whistle.
Now Starrett was saying after he signed with the Edmonton Oilers and he went home, and his older brother Bob, there's 4 brothers I believe altogether, and he said his older brother Bob already had bought an Oilers hat, and he was ready to support his brother. So it's a great moment for these kids, young men, but it's such a great moment for their families. Been so many different players who've had their families here watching the tournament, either driving in or flying in. So it's business, but there's some pleasure too when you have some friends and family around.
Austin Strand with a drive up high, save made by Thatcher Demko.
Well, I was asking Trent Cull before the game a little bit about what it's like to coach his team, because he's new to the organization, and it's interesting because we talk about Austin Strand and we talk about all these players and having to go through playing in this event. For him, Trent Cull, who's running the bench for the Canucks, he hadn't been a head coach since, Sudbury, so it's like 4 years ago. He was an assistant at Syracuse for 4 years, so he's trying to kind of scrape off the rust a little bit too when it comes to making head coaching decisions.
Taking over as the head coach for the Utica Comets from Travis Green, who's the new head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, who open up their training camp tomorrow, a few days earlier than the majority of the NHL teams. Michael Carcone on the ice, let a shot go. It's deflected high and out of play.
Well, the Canucks have their golf tournament going today, and how about the article, Sedin's Players Tribune? I mean, there's a look at Tull who was just discussing how he's enjoying being back behind the bench. And listen, big shoes to fill. Travis Green, he's kind of been the hot commodity, right? Close to getting a job in Anaheim, and who knows what other jobs he had an opportunity to get. And now he's been moved up to the big club. But the Sedins, well, quite an article of the two of them.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Meantime, Griffin Molino's wrist shot through a screen, kicked away by Starrett. Pagan had a tough time clearing out of his own zone, but eventually does. Stewart retreats to his own territory for Vancouver. And now Luchuk turned it over at center ice. Mantha will dump it back the other way. Molino pressured off the puck by Mantha. Good work here by the Oilers defenseman to go in on the forecheck, but the Canucks are able to break through it and now skate it up to center ice. In across the line, a rink-wide pass intended for Stewart, skipped off to the glass. Stewart did get eventually to it, throws it towards the crease. Oilers push it away to the wall. Mantha Second time this period, a puck has hit the scoreboard.
I think the guys maybe watched a little too much NFL yesterday. They're going for the deep passes. But, you know, talking about the Vancouver Canucks, and I'm sure you look at the kids on their bench, and, well, on any bench here at this tournament, they know about the Sedins. And the Players Tribune article, you've covered the Canucks for a long time. I wonder how impressed or what you thought of that article.
It didn't surprise me in the least. You can check it out through Canucks.com and through their social media channels, and of course through the Players Tribune website. It's an article penned by Daniel and Henrik Sedin. It's titled Dear Vancouver, and it basically is a message to the city and the hockey fans of the Canucks that they want to be able to finish their careers as Canucks. And no matter how this team might look moving forward, as Lower Mainland native Jacob Stukel has a shot denied by goaltender Starrett, and there's lots of talk because they're in the final year of their contracts. They have never won a Stanley Cup. They've come oh so close. But they made it very clear that they love the organization, they love the city, and that's where they want to be. Because maybe if that message wasn't out there before training camp started or game action got underway, that questions would be coming from reporters and from fans. Well, what are you going to do with the Twins? But the way they wrote that article and the messages that they presented to the readers was unbelievable. And they are surefire future Hockey Hall of Famers, Daniel and Henrik Sedin.
Just saw Brian Burke, I think it was today or last night, sometimes the days, but I think back to his move to make that happen, right? 99 draft.
Here's Yamamoto with a chance tonight. Rebound, and they score! And it's Joseph Gambardella with his second goal in the period, putting the Oilers in their first lead of the game.
Well, you know, earlier on, Joe, I was talking about how the Oilers came out in that first game against Calgary, trailing by 1. In period number 3, they scored 3 quick goals, and it was lights out. Well, it's not lights out for Vancouver, and it's taken them a little bit longer, but very similar situation. And Joseph Gambardella picks up the rebound. Kyler Yamamoto gets his first point in the tournament thanks to that wrist shot. And Gambardella, who tied for 9th in the nation in scoring last year while playing with UMass Lowell, has come in and showed some offense. Now he's tied Butcher for the team lead in goals in this tournament.
Edmonton Oilers' third goal of the game, scored by number 45.
And it's Joseph Gambardella with his third goal of the tournament. Has put the Oilers in the lead with 4 minutes remaining now here in this second period of play. Jan-Pavel Laplante back into the Oilers' end. Pressured off the puck by Scholler. Canucks get it back though. Brett McKenzie. Shot from long range, deflected off to the boards. Levy put it back around the net. Laplante trying to get it free off the wall for Vancouver. Daou is also there for the Canucks. Daou comes away with it, drags it in front. Alexei Daou, his shot never got on target. That was blocked by Austin Strand, who now has a chance to clear it out himself to center. Canucks are 1 shot away from 30 in this game, but they now trail Edmonton by a score of 3-2. Carconi, who has both goals for the Canucks this afternoon, leaves it in his own territory for Levy. Now to Jalen Chatfield. Memorial Cup winner last spring with the Windsor Spitfires will flip it in deep. Jonah Gadjevich can't get it free away off the stick of Mantha, but the Oilers fail to clear it out of their own zone. Mackenzie Stewart, his shot is blocked. He keeps it in at the line, floats it towards goal. It's gone wide. Mantha backhands it off the boards in his own territory for Poli, who will now clear it to center. Luke Coleman the other way for the Oilers. Backhands it across the face of the Vancouver target. Canucks back on the puck. Carconi, with one hand on a stick, will jab it in deep, and Vancouver will make a full-scale change on the fly. 2:22 to go in period 2. Canucks down 3-2 to the Oilers. Mantha out to center ice. Blasts one high and wide of the target of Thatcher Demko. Moynihan for the Canucks gloves it out of the air, gets it down to his stick, but his rink-wide pass was picked off easily by Savon Kara. Caleb Jones retreats behind his own goal to regroup for Edmonton, who have had a very good pushback here in this second period. Came out of the locker room down 2-0, and now they're going to go to work on a power play as a tripping call is forthcoming here against the Canucks. Maximoff will gather it off the wall. Oilers have the extra attacker on the ice right now. Kara with it at the line. Leaves it high in the slot for Fix Wolanski, who puts that one high over the end netting up into the suites. And out of play for a whistle.
You know things are going wrong when it just sort of a lazy lying stick ends up costing you a penalty. And one of those plays, just sort of more bad luck than anything for Danny Moynihan. But it gives Edmonton a chance to pump up their lead a little bit more. In the first period, Vancouver had 16 shots. They've still had 13 in this period, Joey, but the Oilers seem to be handling them a little bit better in their own zone and not having to deal so much with their offense.
Jones with a long blast off the blocker arm of Demko. Canucks though fail to clear. Yamamoto coming off the wall. Puts it low in the corner. Maximoff got it around the net. Puck comes free to Chatfield, but he can't clear. We're under a minute to go now here in this second period. Gambardella out on the ice looking for his hat trick. Puts it to the point for Jones. Back to Gambardella. Rink wide for Yamamoto, and a one-time shot forces a good pad save by Demko, and the Canucks whistle it down the ice. 40 seconds to go here in period 2. Jones to center, stretches it up the middle, missed everybody, but it won't be icing. Demko stretches it up for Carcone, who's on a short-handed breakaway. Carcone caught up to by D-Man, let a shot go, and it goes high and wide. What a beautiful heads-up play by the netminder to the 2-goal scorer for the Canucks, and inches away from netting a hat trick. One more rush on the power play here for the Oilers, who get it across the Vancouver stripe. On it was Saipula, but he's forced to bring it back to center. 5 seconds to go here in the period. Mantha will just rag it back to his own blue line, and the horn will sound to finish off a pretty impressive period for Edmonton. 3 unanswered goals, 2 of them from the player wearing the captaincy, Joseph Gambardella. And it's the Oilers in a 1-goal cushion going into the break.
Yeah, we had Michael Carcone kind of handling things offensively in period 1, 2 goals, hit a crossbar, could have had 3. This period, maybe the goals weren't as illustrious and loquacious, but they were still effective. Gambardella with a couple, 2 of the 3. Said Pagan had the other one, and the Oilers, at 2-0 to start the period, really, they didn't look like they had a lot going, but they kind of stuck with it. They had some chances shorthanded, didn't score when Vancouver was on the power play, and they just seemed to build and build and build, and they got their confidence going. They got some of that offensive mojo on the way, and now it's suddenly a much different hockey game, as the Oilers have shown previously in the tournament to be able to score in bunches, and that's what they did in period number 2. And now it's almost a role reversal, because in period 2, heading into it, you mentioned it, well, let's see what the Oilers do. Push back, how do they rebound? And now it's Vancouver's turn.
Shots on goal did favor the Canucks in that period. They had 13 compared to 10 for the Oilers. After 40, it's the Canucks with 29 and Edmonton with 15.
Yeah, and he didn't get a goal, but he did help get a goal and got his first point of the tournament. Let's go downstairs and join Tom Gazzola and Kyler Yamamoto.
From down 2-0 after 1 to up 3-2, Kyler Yamamoto and the Oilers head into the third period with a 1-goal lead over the Canucks rookies. Kyler, what was said, what changed between periods to lead to 3 unanswered there?
We needed to come out hotter. They came out hot and they took it to us first period, but we knew we had to come out hotter, and I think we did that.
You, Chad Butcher, Joe Gambardella seem to have found a bit of a rhythm. What works between the 3 of you?
I think we got good chemistry. We all sit by each other in the locker room. We're always talking. I think we're in each other's heads right now, and we know what we're going to do with the puck.
For yourself, 5 periods into life as an Oiler, what's it been like? What's the experience been like this week?
It's a dream come true. Hockey's fast, and being in an Oilers uniform, Wayne Gretzky played it at Connor McDavid now. It's an unbelievable feeling, and I'm looking forward to more.
Kyler, enjoy the ride. Thanks for this. Good luck in the third.
Thank you.
Kyler Yamamoto and the Oilers lead 3-2 as we head to the final frame.
Hawks right over. By the way, fix, good pass there, buddy. What do you say, Bearsy? There you go, Will. Yeah, Max! Watch your ass, watch your ass! Becky! We're all right here, fellas. We're all right. We're all right. Hi, boy, Skins.
Another shot. That goes wide of Phillips. Samarkov just dumps it behind the net. Wraparound shot to goal! Luke Coleman with the opportunity out front, and Edmonton leads 1-0. Chance to Harkin. Harkin. Oh, nice setup. Oh, what a save by Skinner! Stewart Skinner with an absolute robbery on Skylar McKenzie.
What's up, bro? How's your stomach? Is that where you're from? Yeah, New York. A little different than up here, though, eh? Let's go middle. Good kill, White. Little there, little there. There I go. That guy's not letting me go back. I'm trying to go to Polsey, but that's what Hey, Polsey! If we can, run some low plays. Look, if we can, run some low plays. Yeah! Polsey! How'd that not go in? Yeah, Max! Yeah! Nice pass. Nice try, bro. Nice pass. Go to the wall here. Go to the wall here. I'll go through. Yeah, go rim. I'll go through. You're going wall. Outside glass. Outside glass. Stop.
Net for Joseph Gambardella.
Cowboys.
I'll go outside. Oh, way outside. That one went in. He just said good. I'm like, no way. Good job. Why you gotta wait, fellas? Good talk, eh, kid? Yeah, it's about time, eh? It's about time.
We're back here at the South Okanagan Events Center, site of the 2017 Young Stars Tournament. Joey Kenward, joined by the Director of Amateur Scouting for the Vancouver Canucks, Judd Brackett, and you, as much as anybody, are pumped to be here in Penticton this weekend because the fruits of your and your scouting staff's labor are all on display for everyone to see.
Yeah, it's always an exciting time to see, drafts from players from past drafts, and then obviously from this summer's draft get together and see the development and progress that they've made over the summer months, whether it's gaining strength or a little more speed. But it's always exciting to be here and see them playing together.
You've been in the director of amateur scouting role for a couple of years. We've been on the Canucks scouting staff for almost a decade. Would you say that since this tournament started 7 years ago, this is probably the most complete team of prospects the Canucks have put on the ice?
They were exciting last night. I mean, they played with speed, and they, there was some skill out there, and I think 40-something shots on net, I think, was the most I've seen since I've been coming. But yeah, it was a good team effort, and some progress with a lot of our players. So
the most recent first-round pick the Canucks made last year was Elias Pettersson out of Sweden. Now he's not here because he started his pro career in the Swedish Elite League. Sounds like he's having a great start to playing at the pro level already.
Yes, and he did play pro level last year in the Allsvenskan League. So the transition to the SHL is not a surprise. A lot of the things that we saw and identified in him between his hockey sense and skill are still on display there. But he's playing some prime minutes in a great league and has some scoring success already. So we're pleased with that, and I know he can't be here, but we're all still paying attention and watching his development.
So many Canucks fans and hockey fans in general are focused in on the first-round draft picks you do have here at this tournament. Brock Besser is here for the first time after finishing his collegiate career off last season with North Dakota and then playing 9 games with the Vancouver Canucks. How pleased have you been with his development the last couple of seasons?
Yeah, he's been, even from day one when he arrived in North Dakota, he had an immediate impact and, helped them, win a national title. He's a proven scorer. We saw last night he rang the crossbar, but, it was labeled and, something he does well. He can get to the net, he can finish, and even in his 9 games in Vancouver, he proved that. So it's exciting. It's great to have, sometimes when those college guys, are not here year to year. It's always nice when they get here. They're a bit stronger and ready to play.
Olli Juolevi was here last year after being picked 5th overall in the 2016 NHL draft, a player that's played a ton of hockey at a variety of different levels, winning championships to boot, getting set to step into pro hockey for the first time. How important is this weekend as far as kickstarting his season?
It is. It's very important. Olli is a really smart player, but getting out here and against some older, stronger guys, some guys with American Hockey League experience, it's good for him to be challenged that way. He always seems to find a way to get out of difficult situations when he's pressured and gaps are closed, but this is good for him.
Final question for you, Judd. Not only is it important for you to see the future of your organization, it's also important to see what the other teams that are here have stockpiled in the way of prospects. This is almost Christmas coming early to see who you have for the future, but who these other Western Canadian rivals are putting on the ice for years to come.
No, it's always nice to see the other teams' prospects, and the other 3 teams here have drafted very well, and over the years we've seen some really good players, and we've seen some move on and already playing. So it is nice to see them, and it's a measuring stick as guys come from different leagues and they're on the same ice here. So it is a great experience to see their players and ours, and and sort of where we fit amongst the pecking order.
Judd, appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your stay here in Penticton, and best of luck in what's always a long season in the eyes of a hockey scout.
Thank you, Joey.
Judd Brackett, Director of Amateur Scouting for the Vancouver Canucks, joining us here at the South Okanagan Event Center.
In just one short year, these seats will be packed with fans from around the world here to watch the best under-18 hockey players go head-to-head at the Ivan Halinka Memorial Cup. This will only be the 2nd time Canada will host the tournament, an exciting event not only for our city, but for those athletes who are coming overseas to participate.
Over the weekend in the Czech Republic, Team Canada took home the gold for the 21st time over the tournament's 27-year history, with staff from Oilers Entertainment Group cheering in the crowd.
Canada won 4-1 in the final. It was a great chance for us to be there. Great to see the hockey and get an idea on the level, and also to see how they deliver the tournament there. It was really fun to watch.
The 6-day Ivan Halinka Memorial Cup will consume Rogers Place and the downtown community arena next August.
These are really the best players at this age group, and it's hard to imagine they're 17 when you watch them play.
Obviously a traditional winter sport for Canadians.
it's a great opportunity to showcase our city in a different light than they might see it in December.
Locals, visitors, and nearly 300 to 500 scouts are expected to fill the seats.
A lot of players that play in the NHL, this is their path. And anyone that's gone through international hockey, it's kind of that first step of a true international tournament.
This event could pump $5 million into the city's economy from tourism alone.
There's tons of activity happening in our city in August, festivals that they can come and check out, the pre and post stay. We're really looking forward to working with the Oilers Entertainment Group to try and build off of a great event in our city.
This is the first time the Cup will be on Canadian soil since 1996. OEG and Hockey Canada look at this opportunity as a chance to build and grow the event.
We don't anticipate that it's going to be the World Juniors right away. It hasn't had broadcasting in the past, so we're going to add TV to it. We're going to add a number of elements.
The Cup will be hosted at Rogers Place in 2018, 2020, and 2022, with the Ice District Plaza expected to open as early as 2019.
It's a no-brainer to add some different components to the event and take place of that fantastic space that they'll be able to work with.
Well, it's unbelievable. I don't know that there'll be a better venue in the world, period, for any type of hockey endeavor, to be honest with you. So we're certainly excited about the opportunity. And when you look at what will happen with the Ice District, I can't imagine people not wanting to be part of that and be there, in a way to participate.
Another great reason to come, proceeds from all 3 Ivan Holinka Memorial Cups will be reinvested into grassroots hockey in Alberta.
For more information on the tournament and for all the latest news and event announcements, visit our website and follow us on social media. Don't forget to get your tickets to the many exciting events and concerts coming to Rogers Place. If you are coming down for one of those shows, be sure to check out our Summer of Live Entertainment playlist on Spotify. For Ice Level, I'm Jessica Kent. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to Penticton. That second period was all Edmonton.
Yeah, first period all Vancouver. Second period lots of Joseph Gambardella. 9:44 mark. Finally, somebody beats Thatcher Demko to make it a 1-goal game. And then Zayed Pagan with a blast. He follows up quite nicely just inside the blue line. That was 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes later. And then there was one more goal exactly 4 minutes after Pagan scored. It was Joseph Gambardella again. Now, Chad Butcher getting his second assist of the tournament, and Kyler Yamamoto getting his first point of the tournament. So we have some changes going on heading into this period of play. Michael Gartag is in for Thatcher Demko, and just in case Vancouver Canucks fans are wondering, is Demko hurt? Did he play bad? No. Trent Cole said before the game, he said Demko will start, but it's not necessarily him that's going to finish. So this is a predetermined decision, not something that was necessarily done in the intermission.
Fans in these parts know all about Michael Gartag, a former Penticton V, played his junior A hockey here in this very building. A native of Prince George, British Columbia, will play the final 20 minutes and has his team starting this third period short-handed. Half a minute to go on a minor penalty to Danny Moynihan. Joey Kenward, Gene Principe with you here in the broadcast
Let's take
booth.
it home, buddy. Let's take it home.
20 miles,
Yep.
baby. 20 miles as the Oilers look to build on a 3-2 lead here. We should also mention that the Vancouver Canucks are short a player, and I'm not sure exactly what the status is, but I don't believe Cole Lind came out of the locker room for the third period. You might recall he was sandwiched by a couple of Edmonton defenders in that second period of play. Here's an opportunity, a long-range chance from Caleb Jones, denied by Michael Gartag. Canucks turn it over. Here is Safin with a goal, and he scores. Ostap Safin goes top shelf, glove side on Michael Gartag. 45 seconds into the period, it's now the Oilers up by a pair.
You got to feel for Michael Gartag. I mean, he comes in, that's his first shot on goal, and it's a roof daddy job by Safin with not a whole lot of opportunity to stop. So that's very difficult. 45 seconds into your first action in the tournament, and this is what you face. And unfortunately, it's not what he stopped. So the Edmonton Oilers, from a 2-0 deficit, have now propelled themselves to have a 2-goal lead as they're up by a count of 4-2.
Ostap Safin from the Czech Republic. Had just 6 goals last year playing for Sparta Prague.
And that's another assist for Chad Butcher. I'm just doing the math. I think he's got 3 goals and 3 assists in this tournament, does Butcher.
Well, he was a point-producing machine for the Medicine Hat Tigers last year. 27 goals to go along with 76 assists. Not a lot of players hit triple digits in the point department in the WHL last year, and Chad Butcher was one of the best on that Tigers lineup. Edmonton Oilers put it back into the Vancouver end, but Danny Moynihan is able to find a loose puck. Now skates it out through center. Jacob Stukel will deflect it across the Edmonton line. Oilers in turn are able to rip it the other way. Evan Poli is able to deflect it on target, and Michael Gartag, with his first touch of the puck, is able to hold on for the whistle.
Kind of makes you wonder in a situation like that whether, I don't know, maybe just in a tournament like this where a guy could get maybe a few shots just to kind of warm him up. I mean, this isn't, I mean, it is the NHL, but it's not. And that's a tough situation. You've been sitting there for 4 days, haven't played in game action, and then suddenly that's what you face. So feel bad for the kid, but hopefully he's able to respond.
Split his time last season between the Utica Comets and the Alaska Aces of the East Coast League. Canucks no longer have their ECHL affiliate in the great state of Alaska. It's back in Kalamazoo. And that's where a few of these players will be working under the league, headed by Trent Cullen, head coach.
Yeah, he was saying before the game how, you know, you don't want to just inundate players with information and systems. He says, for him, especially new to an organization, he's trying to get to know these kids a little bit and almost talk to them a little more on a personal level and mixing in some hockey. So it's kind of a nice touch for a coach, as these kids have a lot to think about and a lot to do, and you don't want to just overload their hockey brain with too much on their plate.
And I'm sure Jerry Fleming for Edmonton, Ryan Huska for Calgary, and Pascal Vincent from Winnipeg would say the exact same thing. A lot of that coaching can come once you get to work with them day in and day out. It's as much about evaluation process as anything for those working behind the benches. Oilers looking to build on their 4-2 advantage, get it back into the Canucks end. Maximov turned the puck over to Daou. Pushes it back into the Oilers corner. They'll race off for a change. Cole Candela is able to snap it in deep. Griffin Molino playing it around the net. Leaves it free for Aaron Berisha. One of 5 players at this event for Vancouver that's here on a free agent tryout. Oilers are able to skip it back the other way. Ethan Saipula throws it towards goal, and good save made by Michael Gartag. Candela backing across the line. Snapping it in deep. Puck onto the near wall. Vancouver in possession of the puck. Jonah Gadjevich leaving it free. Berisha, his snap pass took a high deflection across to the far boards. Kara trying to gather it back. Stood up along the wall by Brett McKenzie. McKenzie goes rink wide to the line, but his pass went behind Guillaume Brisebois, who has to retreat back at center. Here come the Canucks. McKenzie was tripped up and drove to the net. Now we've got a couple of Oilers on the ice. Looks like everybody's okay as the Canucks force a turnover. Gadjevich can't find a teammate with the puck as it's put behind the net of Shane Starrett. Gadjevich trying to put it out in front. Forced though to the corner. Now he does, but the pass got away off the stick of Moynihan, and the Oilers can clear. As we pass the 4-minute mark of this third period, Canucks trailing Edmonton 4-2. Stukel with a pass for LaPlante, went behind him. Now Butcher in across the line. Gives off for Kyler Yamamoto. Belted to the glass by Mackenzie Stewart. Moynihan rubbed down to the ice by Gambardella. Puck comes back off the wall, and Stewart will have a chance to clear. Stukel, nice feed up the middle for LaPlante. Towards goal, Jan-Pavel LaPlante with a shot, denied by Starrett, who will hang on for the whistle.
Some good chances at both ends of the ice. Shane Starrett's had a chance to kind of relax a bit, and hopefully Gartag, same situation for him with, you know, all Canucks eyes on him and what he can provide in the goaltending department, and some good work here by the Edmonton Oilers. Nearly leads to another goal, but credit Garteig, who didn't make a save on his first shot, but has made about 2 or 3 nice saves since then, giving the Canucks a chance to get back into this game.
That was Grayson Polinchuk from the Red Deer Rebels with that close range opportunity. 4.5 off the clock here in this third period. Canucks have both their goals in the first from Michael Carcone. Joseph Gambardella had 2 of the 3 goals in that middle period for Edmonton. Ziad Pagan had the other, and then the 4th goal, Ostap Safin has made it a 4-2 game. Garteig with a good pad save off a chance from Luke Coleman. Canucks regroup low in their own territory as Jalen Chatfield will set up the breakout. Gives off for Olli Olevi. There's Cole Lind. Good to see him back into the action for Vancouver. Gave a little bit of a stick to his opponent off the puck, and that's going to be a penalty. So as we talk about Lind coming back into the mix, he's going to take a slashing call here. So we've just passed the 5-minute mark of the third.
Yeah, he's exactly wondering what he did to deserve that penalty. I think it was Ryan Manta that he got involved with, as the play had already kind of passed the 2 of them and a bit behind the play. Lind got a stick up, so good to see that he's back in the game. Not good to see if you're the Canucks fans to see that he's now sitting in the penalty box. Just over 5 minutes into this period. So far, Vancouver with only 1 shot on net. Now we'll try and prevent the Oilers from having a few more shots with this man advantage as they look for their first goal on the power play.
They'll set up the man advantage with Jones batting it from the line in deep. Butcher got it off the boards for Gambardella, but it bounced away out of his possession, and the Canucks can clear. Here comes Carcone, shorthanded and on goal. Save made by Starrett on a good power move by Michael Carcone, sniffing around for his hat trick. Out to center ice comes Jones, a drop pass momentarily escaped Gambardella. He then is forced off the puck by Molino. Danny Moynihan has a shot, blocked by the diving legs of Jones. And the Oilers will have a chance to regroup on the power play with about 1:15 remaining in the minor to Cole Lind. Jones with a pass in the neutral zone, deflected down off the stick of Moynihan. Edmonton having a tough time generating a entry into the Vancouver territory here, as a minute is already off the clock on this, the 3rd power play of the day for the Oilers. Jones up the middle through center. Safin can't find Butcher, and the Canucks will clear it into their own bench, forcing the stoppage.
Ziad Pagan, 92 on the part of the Edmonton Oilers, one of the goal scorers. LaPlante had a goal yesterday, but has not scored on Shane Starrett today, who really has kind of locked it down. The shots have been less for Vancouver, but he just has been really solid after giving up those early 2 goals.
29 saves to this point in the game for Starrett. Oilers get it back into the Vancouver end, but turn it over. And Aaron Luchuk will roll it right to Starrett, taking no chances. He'll hang on for the face-off.
I had to ask him yesterday how to pronounce his name, because it's Starrett, and he said the easiest way to remember it is if there was a G in front, you wouldn't say Garrett, say Garrett.
Okay.
So he said that's kind of, because he says he always gets it mistaken because it looks like Starrett.
Just like our good friend John
Garrett. Yeah, he's eating nachos somewhere or French fries with lots of ketchup.
I will guarantee you he is at home in front of his computer right now watching this broadcast.
Not using utensils.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Yes, well, yeah, Dan Murphy and John Shorthouse and the rest of the crew getting ready for...
They will have cleared their schedules today to be watching this webcast from the South Okanagan Event Center.
Well, yeah, they got to clear their schedule starting next week too.
Yeah,
wow, like to go to China.
Well, how about this? As Edmonton's just been whistled down for icing. So Saturday afternoon, the Canucks' first preseason game is at Staples Center against the LA Kings. Sunday, 12 o'clock Vancouver time, the team that's going to China will leave, have a 13-hour flight where they'll then prepare for 2 games next week in Beijing and Shanghai against the same Kings squad.
And I know someone from our production crew will help me out if you don't have the answer. What would be the time difference?
Well, they'll leave Sunday at 12 and get to China around midday Monday afternoon.
So maybe it's a half-day difference type thing? 12?
Pretty close, yeah. It's about a 13, 14-hour flight, so.
Okay, we're just working on that right now.
Yeah,
but that,
it was
either
my
way,
understanding that there would be no arithmetic involved in any of these webcasts.
It's all on the scoreboard.
That's right.
Just look at the scoreboard. That's all the math we need right now.
And as you can see, with a little more than 12 to play, it's 4-2 Oilers leading the Canucks. Maybe Austin Strand out to center ice. Put it in across the Vancouver blue line. Yolevi first to it. Muscled off the puck. Centering feed out of the corner boards by Glover. Never found a teammate. Trey Fix-Wolanski. High into the slot. Strand takes it off to the wall. He's pressured off the puck by Carconi. He goes up ice 2-on-1 with Daou. Carconi looking for the hat trick. Drags the puck. Releases a shot. Save made by Sterrett. Rebound got loose, but then the whistle had been blown, and Brett McKenzie looked like he might have had a scoring chance. Complains to the referee.
Yeah, Sterrett made that initial save. Funny, Carconi was shooting high earlier in the game. He missed up high in the last period, so this chance he went a little bit lower on Shane Sterrett, but Sterrett seemed almost ready and prepared for it as Carconi with lots of time and space, and then it's poked away by Daou, and McKenzie comes in a little late. By that time, the whistle had been blown as Carconi, one of two players with 2 goals on the afternoon, as Sterrett kicked away that rebound in front with Trey Fix-Wolanski.
Here's Griffin Molino dropping a pass. Shot drilled just wide by Luchuk. Rebound will come back out in front. Now it's put onto the end boards by Guillaume Brisebois. Puck free off the wall. Kara put it behind his net, but the Oilers are able to clear it up the middle.
I have an update. 15-hour time difference thanks to Peter Stewart and our production crew. Wow. And they're there for what, 6 days?
Yeah,
Less than a week?
They'll be there a full week.
Wow.
For 2 games. Jones couldn't keep a bouncing puck in at the Canucks line. Molino goes the other way. Stick check by Kara in front of the Edmonton bench. Broussard gets it back for Vancouver. Stewart will roll it back into the Edmonton end as we approach the midway stage of this 3rd period of play. Nice outlet pass to find Evan Poli for the Oilers. Cruises into the Canucks end. Nice rink-wide feed for Coleman, but a good read coming back in on D by Aaron Luchuk to break up the play. Daou with a good step on his man to go wide into the Oilers' corner. Pressure, though, off the puck by the Oilers' Caleb Jones. And now it's Edmonton with a chance to wheel to center, and that's Kyler Yamamoto. Down into the Vancouver end. Lost the puck to Mackenzie Stewart. Stewart with a chance to clear, turns it over. Here's a chance for Yamamoto, and it's denied up high by Michael Gartag as we're 1 second away from hitting the midway point of this 3rd period.
This 3rd period timeout is brought to you by Travel Penticton.
And it looks like we're going to take a break. It's 4-2 Oilers leading the Canucks here at the 2017 Young Stars Class.
5-time Grammy Award-winning Shania Twain. Live in concert, the Now Tour. Rogers Place, May 9th and 10th. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Man, I feel like a woman.
The new album Now drops everywhere September 29th.
I'll get you good.
There's more at ShaniaTwain.com.
Let's go.
5-time Grammy Award-winning Shania Twain.
Yeah. What time they tee off today? So there's a look at Kyler Yamamoto, who his height is often, he's laughing about it. He says he gets it all the time, and you see him by Zayed Paigan. So there's a look at some of the young players around the National Hockey League, some a little older. Brian Gionta is looking for a job right now, but has had a long career in the NHL. Johnny Gaudreau was here not that long ago. Tyler Spurgeon playing defense. Connor Sheary, a cup champion. David Desharnais, once a first-line centerman on the part of the Montreal Canadiens. Now, those guys are all a bit diminutive, but it doesn't compare to who's considered the shortest player of all time. Roy, ironically, Shrimps Waters, who was a goaltender And you look at the fact he made it into the Hockey Hall of Fame. He played for New York, Pittsburgh, and for a time the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, 5'3", 135. But it worked for him. Look at all the space behind him to shoot, but apparently he was a pretty good goaltender.
The goalie stick probably was taller than him.
Yeah, I think if you put it up, yeah.
That's awesome.
So there's something that Kyler Yamamoto has to look forward to. There's lots of young and older players who have not had the size, but have had the success in the NHL.
And it has not affected him in a negative way whatsoever, playing in the Western Hockey League, where you see a lot of big kids in and around that league that he has to face night after night. Put up 99 points last year in Spokane, Washington for his hometown team. He and his Oilers teammates currently hold a 4-2 lead on the Canucks prospects as we're past the midway stage here of the third. Chatfield for Vancouver. Gives off for Carconi in his own territory. Couldn't clear the zone. Long blast by Pagan. Sails wide on the glove side of Gartag. Puck now comes to the stick of Carconi. He's got both Canucks goals today. In across the Edmonton line. Spinorama move with a backhand opportunity denied by goaltender Shane Starrett, who holds for the whistle.
The Carconian Spinorama. Okay, the old Savardian Spinorama. Patrick Kane does it pretty well these days as well. Nice move. Shane Starrett not fooled on that play. It'd be kind of nice to see one of these kids get a hat trick, something for them to remember, whether it's Carconi for Vancouver or Gambardella for Edmonton. And we've been talking about China and preseason games and all that for Vancouver. Edmonton split squad games. They have to go all the way to Calgary to play, as both teams will play, and that happens 2 Mondays from now as they kick off their preseason schedule.
And we should also mention the Canucks' other team that will stay in North America will play road games against the Oilers and the Flames. Here's a breakaway opportunity, and it's off the post. Safin, who scored in the opening seconds of this third period, has Gartag get a piece of this shot to have it just trickle wide on his breakaway opportunity. Oilers come back looking for more. In across the line this time was Safin. Left it free for Bauer, and he rattles it off the post. Lane Bauer, formerly of the Edmonton Oil Kings. Let a good shot go, but that one smacked off the post. Here's another close range chance for Luke Goldman. Put it just wide. Good opportunities here for the Oilers. Trying to pad their 2-goal cushion here, but now they've been whistled down on an icing call.
That was kind of a hectic stretch, shall we say, for the Vancouver Canucks and Michael Gartag, as he's kind of nestled himself in quite nicely after allowing that first goal. And it was a great opportunity for Edmonton here. And have you seen the man they call Safin? And he has twice, and this time he stops him and then gets some help from the post. Otherwise, I think it would have been pretty much done at 5-2 with just over 8 minutes to go.
Oh, there's a high hit that knocks the helmet off of Brett McKenzie, and that was Evan Poli. And Mackenzie Stewart and Evan Poli are going to have a boogie. Mackenzie Stewart is a tough customer, but Evan Poli is no shrinking violet. Shadow boxing, now they come together in front of the Vancouver bench, and Stewart has already knocked the lid off of Poli. Poli trying to land a right of his own, but he's taking more than he's giving at this particular point in the tilt. Trying to get that arm free away from his opponent.
Ooh,
there's a good right cross by Poli, and that one knocks the lid of Stewart off to the ice. Now they get to the glass, and Stewart with a couple of right crosses as the linesman will come in and separate the two. And Mackenzie Stewart wants to get the fans into it here. Maybe that lights a bit of a spark for the Canucks, who have a 2-goal deficit in front of them with 8 minutes to go in the game.
Well, I had said earlier in the game, the Edmonton Oilers haven't had a fight in this tournament. They were the only team that hadn't had a fight until just now. And it all started with a big hit by Evan Poli. Here he is, he just crushes McKenzie. And later on, Mackenzie Stewart jumps in to the aid of his teammate, which is, what you want to see. As we said earlier, we're not into a lot of fights at this tournament, but that was part of the heat of the action. And Poli, who has a goal in this tournament, in fact, he's the only player on the Oilers roster with over 100 penalty minutes, so it wasn't a real sort of big tough roster. It was more about skill, and he's shown a couple of different angles to his game by goal scoring, big hit, and a big fight.
Well, there's no penalty, by the way, on that hit that Poli had thrown on McKenzie. But both Poli and Stewart will sit down for 5 minutes each. Here's Griffin Molino trying to get to the face-off circles. Couldn't get a shot on net when he hit the hash marks, and the Oilers are able to clear. Fix Wolanski through center, in across the Canucks stripe for Maximov. Puts it towards net, blockered away by Gartag, and now he'll cover it with his blocker hand as Brassard and Maximov push and shove after the whistle. LaPlante and Glover do the same. And cooler heads will prevail here with 7:16 to go in regulation.
You know, we've been talking about different people in the community that have been so welcoming to us, and we should give credit to the staff here at the South Okanagan Event Center. I mean, it's a great place for the Okanagan Hockey Academy. There's been a lot of practices and a lot of games in a very short time. The first couple days weren't as warm, but yesterday was low 20s. Today, higher 20s, and the ice is kind of held up, knock on wood, with not much time to go. So good for them on a job well done.
7th year in a row that this tournament has been held in this beautiful facility. As Alexi Daou for the Canucks gets deep into the Edmonton end, puts it back to the point. Brisebois goes rink wide for Chatfield. Off the play, though, there's going to be an interference penalty issued here against the Oilers' Ryan Mantha. So with 6:57 to go in this game, the Canucks have their 5th power play of the contest to try to get to within 1.
Yeah, Trent Cole said that in Vancouver's previous game, they pulled the goalie a bit early, and it didn't really go the way he had hoped. Now, I'm not suggesting he's going to pull him with 7 minutes left, but probably...
Well, that time they were down by 4, not by 2.
So with 2 down, he might go maybe 2.5 minutes left. Unless they score here, then they put themselves in a real good situation. But he was kind of, not joking about it, but laughing about the fact that they tried to get something going, right?
Oilers win the draw. Austin Strand will clear it all the way down on target of Gartag. Canucks scored on 2 of 3 power plays, and there's an accidental high stick, but they will call it a penalty eventually, and that was Saipula who got it up on the mouth of Lind. And so now it'll be a 5-on-3 man advantage for 1:41. As
that looked dangerous. That could have been even more dangerous than it was. Nathan Zapula just kind of swung his stick. Whoa. Yeah, that's scary stuff. Cole Lind luckily just kind of grazed off the top of his helmet, so he's fine. And we'll see if the Oilers are, because suddenly Vancouver has an incredibly positive situation in front of them if they can take advantage of this 5-on-3, Joey.
Lind works the point along with Yule Levy, who's on the puck. Back it goes to Lind with a blast drilled wide on the stick side of Starrett. Puck comes back around to the point. Yule Levy giving it to Lind. Pass down low, intended for Molino, was deflected away to the glass, but Vancouver retrieves. 1:15 to go in this 2-man advantage. Pass deflected behind the net. On it is Aaron Luchuk. Now for Yule Levy. Back down low for Luchuk. To Yule Levy. Now onto the stick of Lind. Lind with a shot through screen, and save made by Shane Starrett, as the Canucks are getting that much closer to the 40-shot mark today.
I'm looking for Michael Carcone. Is he out there?
Not yet,
but I'm sure he'll be out there soon. They do have some time here, well over a minute in one penalty and just under a minute in another. But you'd expect pretty soon he might be out there, considering his afternoon.
Face-off won by the Canucks. Yule Levy, slap pass down low. Luchuk centering feed for Gadjevich, who scores! Jonah Gadjevich, top of the blue paint, puts it behind Starrett, and on the 2-man advantage, the Canucks are now within 1.
Well, who needs Michael Carcone? Don't need him yet. He's done what he's done so far, and the Vancouver Canucks inching their way back into this hockey game with some patience. Kind of started this 5-on-3 with more opportunities from the point. Ulevi with a nice pass across, and they kind of swarm the front of the net, and then Gadjevich is right there to put it by Shane Starrett. Nice play by Ole Ulevi to kind of get through that seam to start that whole play out. And Shane Starrett Didn't have much of an opportunity there, so still a minute left, and only a goal is now the difference between the two teams.
Canucks set up the power play. Daou gives it off now for Carcone. To Brisebois. Back to Alexi Daou. Rink wide. Michael Carcone with a wrist shot off the crossbar. He's been close a couple times tonight. That was the closest he's had for a hat trick chance.
Yeah.
And on the power play, Vancouver see it go out of play.
Well, you knew Trent Cull was going to put him on here on the power play, and he did. And it was kind of the opposite side to the first period, but he just like the first, he rips it up high on Starrett, and again, the crossbar helps the Edmonton Oilers hold on to this 1-goal lead.
Off a draw, Edmonton will get possession of the puck with Coleman sliding it back into the Vancouver end. Half a minute to go here in this Canucks power play. A little more than 5 to go in regulation. Oilers lead the Canucks 4-3. Collision behind the Edmonton net between a couple of Canucks. Neither worse for the wearer being Daou and LaPlante. Brisebois up the right side. Daou takes the pass from him. Cuts into the Oilers' end. LaPlante with a centering pass. It's blocked. Carcone trying to get it into the slot. Does. Shot save made. Rebound. Oh, just trickled underneath it across the goal mouth wide. And that was Jan-Pavel LaPlante, who had Starrett beat. Just couldn't get it across the red line. So we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Chatfield by himself with a shot. Steered away by Starrett. Canucks get the puck back in the Edmonton end, but they turn it over as it's poked out to center ice by Gambardella. Well, the Canucks have had their chances to draw a level. A couple of posts and a couple of goal mouth scrambles. They still trail by 1 here with 4 minutes to go in regulation. Butcher will scoop it in deep. Play the puck behind the goal. Lost it to Stukel. He then lost it to Gambardella. Centering pass. Good save made by Gartag. Here's a chance for Caleb Jones, who's denied by the Canucks puck stopper, who hangs on for the faceoff.
Well, I was almost certain that you were going to. He shoots, he scores down there because Vancouver was all over the Edmonton Oilers and had some incredible chances. The puck just kind of bouncing around. Starrett with a great save, and there's LaPlante. Starrett gets a piece of it. Give the goaltender credit. He got enough of that. Otherwise, we would be tied at 4 apiece, as LaPlante, who had a goal in the Canucks' previous game, just slides that right through the blue paint and out the other side.
They don't get much closer than that, do they? I think Trent Cull, the head coach of the Canucks prospects and bench boss of the Utica Comets, will be very, very pleased with his team's response here in this third period. Even after giving up a goal in the opening minute, they've really taken it to the Oilers prospects the last few minutes here in Penticton. Still lots of time left, but Edmonton are in possession into the Vancouver end. Safin, nice feed in front. Can he get the return pass? No, it was intercepted. And that was Sapula with a chance to put the Oilers back up by 2. Here they come again. Up the ice, Safin. He's had a good period here, very noticeable for Edmonton, but turned it over right in front of goaltender Gartag. Canucks are able to bring it to center. Carcone in across the line, drags the puck, leaves it free for Lind. Back it goes to the point for Brisebois. Snaps it high, too high in fact, that it clears into the end netting and out for a face-off.
And you know, Jerry Fleming is telling his players on the Oilers bench, boys, we're, you know, 1 shift away maybe from each of you. Some of you may not play in the final 3 minutes of this hockey game. Let's see if we can get through this. Already with a couple of wins, and sorry, you know, Jerry Fleming's had his mind on his off-season home in Florida with a couple of condos in just outside of Naples, Florida, and you know, wow, watching that on TV was something yesterday, and it continues. So he doesn't yet know how bad it is, but he's hoping that at least he'll feel better about the hockey situation if he can't feel good about the Hurricane situation.
Here's Daou with a power move to the goal. Alexi Daou slides it just wide. Brisebois gets it back for Carcone, comes into the slot. Carcone with a shot, save made on the left pad by Starrett. And the Oilers on their heels a little bit here, float it to center, partial breakaway chance, and indeed it is a breakaway opportunity, and Maximoff snaps it high on the glove side of Gartag. Good chances at both ends of the ice with a little more than 2 minutes to go here in the third. We'll keep our eye on Gartag to see if he goes to the bench for the extra attacker. As the Canucks come clean to center ice. Chatfield goes rink wide. Long shot kicked away by Starrett. Gambardella had it for a moment. Had a tough time clearing up the wall. Stukel gets it free off the boards. LaPlante turned it over, and now Edmonton can float it out of their own end. Chatfield gives off for Brett McKenzie, who will dump it in deep. Gartag still on the ice with 1:40 to go. Oilers can't clear it out to center. Loose puck in front. Now it's come back to the point. On it is Matt Broussard. To the goal. Scores! Matt Broussard with traffic in front. Just wanted to get it near the target. It finds the net. And with 93 seconds to go, we are in a 4-4 hockey game.
Well, you know, that's just put it to the net, and that is exactly what Broussard did there. You could almost see the space from our angle. We're right alongside where Broussard is, and you could see it just kind of sneak under the right arm of Starrett, who moved a little bit too late. Credit the Canucks with causing some confusion in front of Starrett. There's LaPlante, among others, in front of the Oilers goaltender, and so from 2-0 to 4-2 to 4-4 with just over a minute left in this hockey game in the regulation time anyways. Matt Broussard should be credited with the goal, and the Canucks' recent 7th round draft pick scores his first goal in a Vancouver uniform at 18:27. Here comes Jonah Gadjevich out of his own territory. In across the Edmonton line for Luchuk. Blind backhand pass picked off by Butcher, and he'll spring Yamamoto the other way. Kyler Yamamoto dropping it for Butcher, waiting for help. Chad Butcher leads it in deep. Gambardella got it around the Vancouver net. Steers it to the point. Here is Mantha with a drive. Directed off into the corner. 47 seconds to go here in regulation in a 4-4 game. Stewart with it in his own corner will chop it off the glass and clear it all the way down the ice. Well, we're getting that much closer to possibly the first overtime game this week here in Penticton. Oilers get it back in deep. Cole Candela will roll it free around his net. Chatfield for Lind. Up the ice for Carcone. Drop pass. Gets on to Daou. Alexi Daou with 15 seconds to go. Put it to the line. Now it's high into the slot. Chatfield with it at the point. Rink wide for Candela. Wrist shot put wide through a maze of legs. Oilers are able to clear it high back down the ice. As that'll do it, the horn will sound, and for the first time and final time this weekend, we're going to have to decide a game in 3-on-3 overtime fashion. These two teams tied up at 4. Joey, the Oilers had everything, I wouldn't say under control, but in a pretty good situation. Then they took those back-to-back penalties. It led to a 5-on-3. They only gave up 1 power play goal, but you just saw the spark that it gave the Canucks and it gave their bench and allowed them to push and push and push to the point where they eventually were able to tie up this hockey game. There's Carcone, who started off the scoring after hitting the crossbar. He hit the back of the net not only once but twice, so it was 2-0 after 1 period of play. Then Joseph Gambardella came back along with Zayed Pagan with the slap shot. That tied it up at 2, and not long after that, it was Gambardella again. Kyler Yamamoto with an assist on the goal. It was 3-2, and then to start period 3, first shot on net for the Canucks netminder, and Safin beat him. And from there, it looked like maybe the Oilers were on their way, but there is Gadjevich with the 5-on-3 goal, and then with just over 90 seconds left, the tying goal from Broussard. And so, just as luck would have it, as people were maybe on their way home to their respective cities, or maybe just home for dinner here in Penticton. Not yet. Hang on. Don't be going anywhere yet. Trent Cole working on his game plan, headed into overtime, tied at 4. Look at the shots on goal. Vancouver with 46, while Jerry Fleming's squad with 25. Again with the math, that's 71 shots on net between these two teams. It's been a really entertaining 3 periods of play.
It certainly has, and both teams should be very happy with how they played in spurts, and I think both teams will, no matter how this game finishes off, say, well, there was a little bit of sloppiness in our play. They're not always picture perfect in September, are they? But this one is definitely high on the entertainment scale. 17-10 the shots on goal favoring Vancouver in that 3rd period alone. So Michael Gartag's the goalie of record now for Vancouver. Played just 20 minutes in relief duty from Thatcher Demko. Hasn't let in a goal since the first shot he faced in the opening stages of that period from Safin. And there is Shane Sterrett, kick-starting his pro career after playing for Air Force Academy. He has been extremely busy, 42 saves to this point in the contest. All right, so we're going to play 3-on-3. Here's who the Canucks put onto the ice. Brett McKenzie, Cole Lind up front, Ole Olevi on D. Chad Butcher, Kyler Yamamoto, and Caleb Jones on the ice for Edmonton as we're underway with sudden death overtime. Lots of open ice for these prospects to work with as McKenzie comes clean into the Edmonton zone. Puts on the brakes, leads it off the wall for Lind. Fights off a check, gets it back to Brett McKenzie. Drags the puck to roll it in deep. Couldn't find a teammate with the puck, and now the Oilers are back in possession, and they've got a 2-on-1 rush, and it's Jones and Yamamoto. Caleb Jones on the puck to Yamamoto. He fanned on a one-time attempt, and the Canucks are able to now bring it quickly out to center ice. Lind hauled down by Jones, no penalty called. Here come the Oilers, but McKenzie throws a good body check on Butcher. Yamamoto, can he get around Olevi? Not yet, as he's forced to the corner. Threw it in front, but it went behind Jones, and the Oilers will regroup inside the Vancouver line. These players are already out of gas as the puck will go back into the Edmonton territory. Fresh legs onto the ice for both Vancouver and Edmonton. Butcher still out on the ice, is ragging the puck for Sapula. He'll chip and chase. It's knocked out of the air by Luchuk. Puck came back though. Sapula behind the net, trying to get it out in front. Now the Canucks are able to break free out of their own zone. Michael Carcone up the ice with a good burst of speed. Forced though to the corner boards. Puck came free though for Carcone. Pressured, got it to Luchuk. He turned it over, and Mantha springs Garbadella on a breakaway. Looking for his hat trick. Joseph Garbadella on a backhand. Put it high and wide. These two teams can really open it up with all this open ice. Now Edmonton plays the puck with a high stick, and that forces the stoppage in play.
Yeah, this could be over already. And a nice round of applause for, I think, both teams with the way they've come out in this overtime period. Not looking to defend, but looking to score. Joseph Gambardella goes backhand on Garteg, but he is able to stop Gambardella, who already has a pair of goals in this game. And I tell you what, both of these teams' players are really pushing hard defensively if they get caught.
Here's Guillaume Brisebois for the Canucks. Centering pass, and it's thrown just wide by Gadjevich. Brisebois back to Gadjevich. He fanned on it in the circle. Desperately trying to get it back. Jonah Gadjevich can't, as Safin will clear. He loses it to Griffin Molino. Molino ragging the puck, will backhand it across the slot. Here's Brisebois trying to pass it out in front. It went off a skate around the goal for Evan Polai. And it's now the Oilers with a chance to clear. 2:40 to go here in sudden death, 3-on-3 overtime. And if, by the way, if these two teams can't finish this in OT, we'll solve it via the shootout. Kirill Maximov will turn at center ice to gather up some speed. Maximov in across the line with his teammates making changes. Wrist shot, scores! As the Oilers will pour off the bench and celebrate with Kirill Maximov, who initially started from center ice, didn't worry about his teammates making changes. He puts it high past Michael Gartag to make it a 5-4 Oilers victory.
The Kirill shot on the Canucks, it looked like he was going for a figure skate there, as he was kind of 1-on-3, and Maximov just went back to his own end, and he picked up so much speed here. Even though the Canucks were back, I mean, it's a 1-on-3 again, and they do a fairly good job defensively, but off the stick of Broussard, and that's what caused Garteg the issue there, is that they seem to have him corralled, but the shot off a stick, and just look upwards, as that is the last goal of the 2017 Young Stars Tournament, and the winning goal on the part of the Edmonton Oilers in a thriller on a Monday afternoon. Edmonton 5, Vancouver 4.
Great entertainment for those that had a chance to take it in live here at the South Okanagan Event Center. That was a fun one to call for you and I, Gene, here in downtown Penticton. And this and the majority of the games that we saw this weekend, for all 4 Western Canadian-based teams, there's lots of optimism for all of the clubs when it's talked about the future of these organizations. And the Vancouver Canucks prospects salute the fans in their home province. They've turned out in big, big numbers here over the last couple of days to watch these games, and they were treated to a real fun one this afternoon.
Oh, that's great. I mean, you know, we talked about the opening of the show that usually the Oilers and Canucks kick off the tournament. That's been the case most recently, but I kind of like the way they ended the tournament. With these two teams playing in a game that had a spirited fight. It had some hits early on. It had lots of goals, lots of opportunities. I mean, I know it's 2017. It might have been 1987 the way it turned out to be. It was just a great, entertaining way to finish what's been 4 days of really enjoyable hockey, and not only by Edmonton and Vancouver, but of course as well Winnipeg and Calgary, who played a little bit earlier today.
A great weekend for the future stars of the National Hockey League on display here at the South Okanagan Event Center. Lots of goals in the tournament finale today. 4 for the Canucks, 5 for the Oilers. The OT winner coming to Kirill Maximov. Edmonton finishes the tournament a perfect 3 for 3. Canucks go 1-2. And on behalf of our entire broadcast team from the Canucks, Oilers, Flames, and Jets, we say thank you for your viewing here of the 2017 Young Stars Classic in Penticton.